it may happen anyway, but absolutely, if he turns out to be a successful mayor in that town. Give me a minute to switch over to Wi-Fi and make sure all my devices are running right. Okay, so we should be good to go. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. This is indeed an episode of Friday Night Politics. We do take your topics. What do you think should be discussed? I'm going to run that by you folks again as the show begins to culminate. Folks are still filtering in, so when we get a group, once we get above the 100 mark, I'll state that again because we're going to leave it open to accept topics from you folks as well. But we do have plenty of topics, nevertheless. I mean, it is the era of Trump, so any era of Trump, there are no shortage of goings on, for lack of a better phrase, goings on under the Trump administration. So tonight is going to be just that way. So I'm going to start out. You see that the live stream is titled Mamdani Compared to. And I'm going to give you the clip on better yet, I'm going to present an actual screenshot of why people of what that means. And I'm really taken back in regards to what people are comparing Mamdani to. But before we get into that, I do want to come to you with some clips as always, because President Trump spoke today and he made a statement. Actually, he said two things today. He said two things today that I want to talk to you folks about. But one of them in particular, I don't know if you agree with this. This may be relative to your neck of the woods, but I want you to hear it. And you're not going to hear it without my audio being turned up. So bear with me here. I didn't have that ready. So this is President Trump speaking today. In fact, I got two clips from him.
So I just heard this yesterday that Walmart said that the Thanksgiving was 25% more expensive under Biden. That's a big number because Walmart's respected. I mean, Walmart is Walmart, and they're giving you prices. So that would mean that the whole series of pricing and costs, the groceries and everything else, it was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. The Democrats are good at a few things: cheating on elections and conning people with facts that aren't true.
So what he is saying is this Thanksgiving, according to Walmart, based on what he is saying, because I think Walmart is going to clarify that what he said is not true. But according to him, this Thanksgiving, your Thanksgiving dinner should be 25% less than it was under Biden. Now, in your neck of the woods, are you seeing grocery prices that much cheaper? Now, and by the way, tomorrow in the comments, that's exactly what's going on. I wish I had a clip for somebody showing it, but that's exactly what's going on. But President Trump is claiming that groceries at Walmart are 25% less this holiday season than they were last holiday season. Now, it doesn't take a lot to fact check this, and I just don't understand. I don't understand how no one around him. Listen, how would it be to give somebody a summary of what you're about to go out and say? Because this one is pretty easy to fact check. Now, in the comments, Peggy Cuozo, I think it says Cuozo, I don't want to butcher your name, but Peggy says it's because that's what Walmart said. Here's the skinny on this. The pricing that they based for Thanksgiving dinner under President Biden contained, I believe, 15 more items than it does under President Trump. So President Trump came to a conclusion that his items are 25% cheaper because 15 of them are no longer on the list. And this is easy to dispel. You can easily compare last year's list to this year's list. So I don't get why he didn't know this or someone on his team did not know this. This is just factually false. I mean, all he had to do is look what was on the list. Like, you got a lot less shit in your grocery cart. Of course, it's 25% less. But nevertheless, look, let's take Walmart out of the picture. say you're getting your groceries from Target, Sam's Club, Costco, wherever you buy your groceries from. Do you believe you can get the same groceries this year that you may have purchased last year for 25% less this year? That is what he is saying. We'll end up discussing that, whether or not you believe that Trump's grocery prices are 25% less. Wow, that's significant, by the way. We often give Trump credit when we think Trump is doing something right by America. Make no mistake about it, if he is lowering grocery prices by 25%, that would be a huge accomplishment. And I want to throw in something. Speaking of lowering the price of something that I didn't do for tonight's show, but I actually think this is a good accomplishment by President Trump. I know my liberals, my humble, what I want to say, I always give my beloved liberals, that's the word I'm looking for. I know my beloved liberals are going to refer to me as fluffing when I say this, because they often don't like me giving Trump credit for anything, but Trump has brought down the price of, what do they call them, GL1? These shots you can get, and I know because I'm about to probably try one my damn self to lose a few pounds. I'm talking about these Ozempics, Zepbound, Mounjaro. You've heard these names. Listen, there's at one point I heard there was like 30% of Americans were obese. And apparently these GL1 drugs you shoot into your stomach or whatever the case may be are very effective, And they're far less invasive than, say, bariatric surgery or gastric bypass. So Wegovy's another one. Yeah, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro. Ozempic was the main one. Ozempic was the one that kind of like started it all. Ozempic is like Viagra in the, the erectile dysfunction drugs. This, is what started it, but then there's other things. Well, it's the same thing. Ozempic's the grandfather, but he lowered the price of this stuff that it is getting, not quite, but it's getting to the point where it's affordable. I mean, he claims that he's lowered this stuff down to like $350 a month or something like that. Is that affordable? My humble opinion, yeah, it is. I'll tell you why. If you're obese and all of a sudden you're trying to find a way to pay this $350 a month to take one of these GL1 drugs, you're probably, when you factor in how much you're going to eat less, you're probably going to save $350 a month in food. So that's something they should get credit for. If that happens, now I'm going to bring up the fact that Trump often, pats himself on the back for a lot of things that do not culminate into reality. So it's Trump, so take it with a grain of salt. But if that does happen, where he's made these drugs now affordable to at least most of the middle class, that's an accomplishment, because these drugs can help not only reduce obesity, but all sorts of deadly ailments that go along with it. So I would put this up there, not quite with Operation Warp Speed, but it's huge. It's huge. And the difference is, unlike Operation Warp Speed, he's not going to tell you not to take the shit. So this could literally be millions of Americans benefiting from it. That's a Trump accomplishment. I don't think you can deny that if it culminates in the reality. I'm not going to give him complete credit for it because he says a lot of things that do not come true. But if this comes true, he absolutely deserves credit for that. So continuing on, and by the way, tap the screen, get us on up to 10,000. How much was it before? It was about 4 times the price, Pole Bill. It was about 4 times the price in some places. Some of those, if you did not meet the requirements to get your insurance to pay for it, such as I think you had to have diabetes. It was only a few things a few ailments you could have that your insurance would cover you getting it. So by having it at $350 a month, you can actually buy it now, where you don't have to have any of the medical ailments required to get it. Because obesity alone did not cover, your insurance company would not cover you getting it just because you were obese. So, I mean, if it's $350 a month, I actually think, and that could be people who don't have insurance at all. People who don't have insurance at all that are obese are in a real bad way. Let's say you drive a truck as an independent contractor. You probably cannot afford to purchase your own health care. Now, with them gutting what's left of Obamacare, So yeah, if you can buy this for $350 a month, I think it's an accomplishment because it could help reduce a lot of problems in addition to diabetes, high blood pressure. What else comes with it? High cholesterol. I mean, there's a host of things that come with being obese. It causes all kinds of problems. So I'm going to give them credit for that if it culminates. But continuing on, now this one here is very interesting. I'm gonna primarily aim this one a lot at my detractors of Trump because do you want to go after Trump to the point where it might hurt America? This is something Trump said today in the Oval Office that could do that. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I want to get your opinion on it. By the way, tap the screen, get us up to 10,000 likes if you're watching on TikTok. Helps out the algorithm. Please do that.
If we lost that ruling.
But before the Supreme Court issues a ruling, it could be several weeks. Are you going to lay out any new additional tariffs
I don't
before?
want to talk about it. I'm going to hope that we win. I can't imagine that anybody would do that kind of devastation to our country. You know, we have to pay back trillions of dollars. We've taken in trillions. We haven't taken in billions. We've taken in trillions of dollars. We've made trade deals based on that give us, as an example, European Union, $950 billion. Japan, $650 billion. South Korea, $350 billion. Without this, we're not talking about that kind of money. And they're okay, they're satisfied, they love us. I just left. They all love us. So it's not like we're such bad people. But they were doing it to us until I came along. Now they don't do it to us, we do it to them a little bit. But if they took this away, we would be defenseless against tariffs from other countries.
Okay, what he's talking about is the Supreme Court is going to be ruling whether or not his tariffs are legal. Now, he lost in the appeals court. He lost in the appeals court. They ruled that those tariffs that he imposed without any approval from Congress or anybody. He just came up with these tariffs on his own. They've ruled that those are illegal and they are a tax on the American people. Trump continues to insist. And by the way, thank you for that TikTok cap, handsome conservative. Appreciate that. Tap the screen. We'll take our first caller at 10,000 on TikTok. What he is saying is if they rule that his tariffs are illegal in the Supreme Court and he has to undo Liberation Day, remember that April 1st? He said that we would owe we would lose trillions of dollars because we would have to give all that money back to all of these countries we've been imposing these huge tariffs on. So I'm going to ask you folks, how do you think the Supreme Court should rule? How are you hoping the Supreme Court rules? Do you want Trump's tariffs to be allowed, or do you want them to be struck down? Now, you heard Trump say if they are struck down, it's going to cost America a ton of money because we've been charging tariffs on all of this shit for a long. Do you want his tariffs to remain, or do you want them to be struck down? Now, there's pros and cons to that. Obviously, us U.S. citizens don't want to be on the hook for $1 trillion. But then again, we don't want to be on the hook for the tariffs either. A lot of people believe those tariffs are coming out of our pocket. I know the Trump administration and many of his supporters do not believe the American consumer pays for those tariffs, but everybody else does. So you need to take a critical thinking course, ASAP. Look at multiple sources, says Peter B. Elaborate on what I am not thinking of or thinking in regards to critically. And by the way, Peter, if you want to come up on the program, I'll bring you up first. You don't have to agree with a damn thing I say. It doesn't matter what your politics are. We'll give you plenty of time to state your case and challenge the host and maybe even correct the host. So Peter B, come on up if you will. Forever C10 says, it's about to get more expensive again in the bird world because bird flu is back. Damn. Turkeys are going up along with other birds. Not my turkey legs. No, are you serious? Bird flu is back? Well, let me just say it like this. This is bird flu in the era of Trump. Trump does not like when things fuck up his numbers. I'm just going to say this. I hope I'm wrong on this. And this is coming out of my mouth. I ain't heard this from nowhere, but I'm going to simply say, as opposed to letting the bird flu ruin Trump's numbers, I believe Trump would prevent them from canceling out a bunch of birds. Fuck it. Just let them eat them and let's hope they don't get sick. But under my watch, the price of eggs cannot shoot up. Let them eat them motherfuckers, and we'll just say it was something else. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. Thank you again for that. Thank you for that TikTok cap. Says Sean B45. I do appreciate that. Thank you, folks, helping your boy out on that TikTok cap. Go. Young Brycey says, wouldn't it be Dr. Oz or RFK's win, not Trump? No, it's going to be Trump's win. Listen, if you own a team and you draft a great player and your team wins a championship, the only reason this player is on your team is because you drafted him. I mean, that's the only reason that Dr. Oz or RFK are there is because Trump put him on his team. So if that team succeeds, Trump gets credit for it, just like he gets credit if that team fails. In the comments here, thank you for the TikTok cap there, P-Dub. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. And someone else said that I didn't see the name. It's coming up so damn quick, but thank you very much for helping your boy out. Okay, looking in the comments, are we at 10,000? Tap the screen, get me up to 10,000. We'll take the first caller. Tariffs are paid for by the importer and not the exporter. Well, the importer is us. We're the ones that are taking in Chinese goods and taking in imports from all these other countries, and that's what most of the political analysts believe, the financial analysts believe, but the Trump administration is saying that the people are paying for the tariffs. So I'll look at it like that. So funny they got it backwards. This is Trump derangement syndrome. That backdrop, LO. Well, I don't know how to flip around YouTube, but it's flipped around on some of the other apps. We're currently live on X. We're live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube, and you're watching us also on TikTok. Super B says, and Trump lies. Yeah, that's what I said. You got to wait and actually see what happens because Trump, everything Trump says, yeah, you gotta do your due diligence. I mean, Trump says a lot of things that do not pan out. That is absolutely true. D1. Good evening, D1. Welcome to the program. If it brings them up, let me make sure I get the volume going there. Doesn't look like D1's going to come. Supreme Court said tariffs are taxes. Have they officially struck it down yet, though? Yeah, I actually believe that. I actually do believe tariffs are taxes. I don't know how Trump is suggesting that we can impose all these huge tariffs on other countries and somehow we're going to make a ton of money, and none of the retaliation they're doing in response to that is going to hurt us. But that is what he has been saying. But I absolutely believe that imposing tariffs is going to trickle down to us paying more for our goods, more for our services, more for our products. I absolutely believe that. My last guest did not come up, so we'll move it on to Tamar. Good evening, Tamar. Welcome to the program. Tariffs are I saw that already. Tamar, if it brings you up, there we go. Tamar, good evening.
What's up, Tim?
Not much at all. Good to have you on. So, what do you think? You think that would you favor them striking down Trump's tariffs with him saying that we'll have to pay back $1 trillion?
If other countries if we're the one paying the tax, then how do we have to pay back the other countries?
Well, according to Trump, we're not paying the tax.
But according to Trump, but according to everybody else, according to professionals, we're the one that's paying the tariffs.
So what are you saying? Trump don't know Trump don't know what he's talking about or something?
Exactly.
I'm just asking. I mean, so if we got to pay the tariffs, but we would also have to potentially pay back all this money we've charged them on shit for the last 8-9 months.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How are we charging them if we're the one paying the tax? How are we charging other countries? So what's going on here? Something's not right.
Well, here's what's going on. Okay, let's say, for instance, we decide to put 100% tariff on China. That means all of the stuff they send us, they're going to respond by putting tariffs on our stuff. So we're paying tariffs on the stuff they send us. But I don't know. We're charging them on stuff we said. It's just a mess. I'm just even trying to explain it. It's throwing me off. It's confusing.
And you know what happened on that's the whole thing is crazy, Tim.
Well, according to Trump, it was going to make us a ton of money.
It can't be. The tariffs don't do anything because where's the money at then? Midas Touch. I've been watching a lot of Midas Touch. Where's the money?
Bro, I mean,
where's all the money that's coming in?
Well, the money is coming in. He never said it was going to come to you. Maybe it's going to the deficit. Maybe it's going to the military. I mean, he never said you were going to see any of it.
All these deals, we haven't seen not one deal on paper. We haven't seen him sign not one deal. Like when he did the deal with Canada and Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, in his first term, we did see him sign that one.
Yeah.
He always signs.
Well, he just skipped out on the trade deal with Canada because he didn't like the television commercial from Ronald Reagan. So he's made no deal with Canada. We know for a fact because he didn't even go over there.
But he already had one in place that he basically broke.
Yeah, and that's a good point about bringing up that he had a deal in place that he basically broke. I mean, Trump has broken so many deals. I don't get why people would enter into deals with him at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why that goes back to the whole thing with the Democrats opening up back the country. What's the point? Like, how do you trust him?
Wow. So you're saying, because Trump has said that if the Democrats open up the country, he will sit down with the Democrats and discuss what they want. So you're saying, why would you even trust him to sit down with you?
Why would you? Exactly.
Yeah.
You think about it. And then he talked today when he was with the press conference with the guy from Hungary, the prime minister from Hungary.
Yeah.
And they did ask him about that Walmart deal. A reporter from NBC asked him that it was less items, and he shot her down and called her.
He said you're fake news. You're fake news. I won't take a question from you or something like that.
Yes, because she asked about the Walmart deal. She said it was less items and stuff like that. He went off on it.
Yeah, I saw
right there in the Oval Office in front of the prime minister from Hungary.
That's right there something that I'm certain that once there's a liberal in the Oval Office, the right would not like. The right would not, because remember Steve Ducey's son, Peter Ducey, he used to ask all kinds of gotcha questions to the Biden administration, and they would still let him ask questions every press conference. They would never shut that guy down. So I'm pretty sure that going forward, the right would hate to have a liberal president there that shoots down any questions coming from Fox or Newsmax. They would hate to have that. I don't know why they favor it, because he's basically stifling free speech by doing that.
It's like I'm just waiting for Dave Chappelle to pop up and be like, we got you. I'm just waiting because this is like this is crazy.
I'm just picturing. I'm just.
Shazam, we got you. Yeah,
I mean, I had a guy tell me yesterday, one of my friends who is MAGA, tell me he still thinks that Trump will go down in history as the best president in our lifetime, at least.
And you should ask him since Trump has been in office this second term, how has he what has he done that to help you?
I did ask. Well, he stated that.
What did he say?
He's an over-the-road driver. He stated that the price of diesel has come down significantly. He said he feels safer with them getting rid of no bail and things like that. So he feels safer walking the streets. He feels better that Trump has curtailed all of the LGBTQ advances so that, children aren't being finagled with all this trans stuff. I mean, he gave reasons.
Oh, man. Gas basically has been the same. Let's be real. And it always goes down around this time anyway. Gas was basically the same price it was around this time last year, around election time. And then it went up. Around the holidays, and that didn't go up that much, but it went up to about $3. I live in New Jersey, so I'm basing it off in my area.
Well, you guys have a lot of taxes. Yeah, the New England area, you guys have a lot. Your gas is ridiculous due to taxes, just like here.
It's not bad. It's not bad right now. It's anywhere from $2.90 to you can find $2.40 for regular.
Oh, that ain't bad at all.
Gas stations.
No, that ain't bad at all.
$2.40 something. I think that's the cheapest I've seen. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. Not $2.40. $2.50. $2.50.
That ain't bad. I thought, because I used to be an over-the-road driver myself, and yeah, when I got in the New England area, Jersey, New York, all them areas, Massachusetts, gas was ridiculous back then. That was back in the early 2020s, 2019, 2017. So $2.35 to $2.50 in New Jersey. That's actually very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody points out that Jersey is not New England. Okay, fair enough. But I just in that whole region, I thought gas prices was pretty high. So in Pennsylvania, it's pretty damn expensive as well. They also were a pretty expensive area. Now in the comments, C. Osby says he's lying. He says diesel was $3.60.
I didn't say diesel. I said regular.
Yeah, you talking about unleaded. Okay.
I said regular gas. I never said no diesel. I don't drive a truck, so I wouldn't know how much diesel is. I don't really pay attention to that. I said regular.
Fair enough. I want to also, in addition to talking about these tariffs and things like that, I don't know if I actually put the photo on here, but actually I did. People are comparing now. You know about Mamdani and all of that shit. You know, people are unhappy. Mm-hmm. They're comparing the man to Bin Laden. Why the hell is that?
Racism. What else? They keep on calling him a jihadist. There's nothing about the man that's a jihadist. They keep calling him anti-Semitic. There's nothing. He said something about the Jewish in his
in the acceptance speech, in the victory speech.
And like, come on now, like. You listen to these people. Listen to Fox News and News Nations, and they get on here on TikTok, and they have their little red cap on, and they just look like idiots.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm seeing people. I'm seeing people putting this picture up. Generally the comment on September 11th is never forget, and they're saying looks like the New Yorkers forgot what they went through. 24 years ago, or whatever the case may be. So they're suggesting that this guy could end up delivering another terroristic blow to New York, similar to Bin Laden. And I don't get where it's coming from.
Racism. 100% racism. We know what it is, Tim.
I'm just saying this is what I'm hearing. So just simply because he's a Muslim, they automatically just equate Muslims to terrorists.
Of course. That's why he said something about his aunt, a fear for his aunt or whatever, the way that she get her looks. If she wore her jihad, the head thing. I'm sorry, I might be saying it wrong. No offense to anybody that's a Muslim.
Hijab or hijab, I think it's called.
Yeah, but the thing, like if somebody seen her wearing it after 9/11, that he was worried about it. And people took so offense to her. Oh, she wasn't even here, or the aunt didn't exist, or like they just was making a whole bunch of stuff up about him, slandering him for it.
Now the right. I get many members of MAGA. I talk to them all the time, and they swear up and down that they're being misunderstood, for lack of a better word. They're not a racist group of people. So is it a bunch of liberals that are comparing this guy to Bin Laden?
No, it's definitely not liberals.
I mean,
it's the right. You know it is.
I don't. Other than racism or something of that nature, I don't know where it's coming from because, like I said, the guy. In fact, how old was this guy when September 11th? Huh?
Oh, yeah. He was
barely out of being a toddler.
He's 33 right now, so he's like 30 something like right now.
Yeah, so he would have been less than 10 years. He would have been less than 10 years old. So yeah, I don't understand why 4 years old. Easy Breezy says 4 years old. So yeah, I don't see where this guy, and not to mention, I don't know what his country of origin is, because simply being a Muslim doesn't mean, if you're a Muslim from Jordan versus a Muslim from Dubai, that don't mean you all should be just like Christians. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different types of Christians. Just simply being a Christian don't mean you should be grouped up with all of them. So other than racism, I can't see any other avenue that it would be.
But how great was that victory speech when he told Trump to turn the volume up? And he
said at the end of it,
a city built by immigrants, something. He said, and now it's ran by immigrants. Yeah. Oh, that was.
To me, Mamdani's claim to fame is very similar to Trump's. It's like the more they hate him, the more powerful he's going to get, just like with Trump. And also, I think that he's not a populist, but he has that same aura around him that people go to his rallies and they walk away really energized. I mean, this guy could end up being a lot more than just a mayor.
That's what the Democrats need. They need like a version of the Tea Party version of the a Tea Party version. You know how the Republicans had the Tea Party thing?
The problem is, though,
whatever, that's what the Democrats need is a version of that.
Yeah, but the problem is the Democrats. There are too many.
But not on those.
There are too many factions that they're concerned with. Whereas I say this all the time: it's harder to be a Democratic politician than a Republican politician because Democrats got to focus on the LGBTQ, the feminists, the Hispanics, the blacks, the Muslims. They got. Whereas if
those rights,
huh?
You can give them those rights, but you can't go too far with that whole transgender thing.
What is too far?
Like men playing in the women's sports. Like, come on. Like,
what about a trans?
Even if it's 2 or 3, come on. Why can't you? If you want to be a trans, play in your trans outfit with men. It's still men.
What about a transgender? But what about a transgender woman going into a woman's bathroom?
A transgender woman going. I mean. I look at it like this. If you're a female, right, and you're walking in the building this late night, how comfortable would you feel if you was walking in with a trans person, even though the chances of the person actually attacking you are way less? You know, it could happen. It's a very good way for somebody, a sick person, to actually use that as a reason to get into the bathroom and do it.
Yeah, but my guess is they're going to already do that now.
I don't think it's.
They're gonna. I mean, if you're a sick person, even in Trump's world, you're still going to put on a dress and go assault somebody. I don't think that a transgender law. This is the same thing they say about the gun debate. If you ban guns, only criminals have guns. If you ban trans, only the criminals are going to be using it the same way. I mean, they're not going to let a law stop them from doing it.
And I get it, but I mean. Is this nothing that should be pushed to the top of a priority when there's a whole lot of other things going on?
Kept away from kids? Should it be kept away from kids?
It shouldn't be pushed on them.
How do you push?
I think that's a lot of reasons why they lost so many people this year against Trump, because a lot of people were against that stuff.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I don't think most people know or interact with any transgender people at all, and yet it became this huge, colossal topic.
That is too much, like it's being taught in school. It's in cartoons now. Like,
is it?
You get what I'm trying to say?
It's trans.
Yeah, they have little gay. They have like not transgender, but they have like gay cartoon things, and every TV show has a gay character. It's like it's there. I have nothing against it. Who you sleep with or who you mess with is your business. But everybody is not built like me, and everybody doesn't think like I do.
Every TV show has a gay character. I was not aware of that.
Not every, but it's a lot of shows. It's a lot of shows you watch that has it, and it's on commercials, and I mean it's being pushed out there for people to see.
Wow. All right.
I mean,
well, but the thing about it is, like, if you don't
conservatives and not even conservative, but people. They maybe not really don't want to be a Republican, but they don't really want their kids around it.
Yeah, but the thing about it is you don't actually have a choice on that, though. Okay, you don't put it on TV. You don't want to shove it down kids' throats. But then when the kids actually come in contact with it, they're not going to know what the hell they're dealing with. Because if you go to high school, eventually you're going to have gay students in there with you. I mean, so you can't control. They're going to get access to it, whether or not you as a parent want it around. I mean, you can't ban it from public life. It's out there.
Yeah. I for example, I had a friend whose father, when we were younger, we didn't know better, but we used to like, geez, he acts like his father was like gay, but we didn't know he was gay until we got older. But like as you get older, you think back, you be like, wow, like that's why he always. I mean, like he was one of those.
The mannerisms. He's fruity. He's fruity.
Fruity. Like.
I get it. The mannerisms. We all knew them. People like that coming up, but it's a different day and time now, man. I don't know if you can hide it from your kids. I do got to move it on, but this is the new world, as they would say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, Tim.
Appreciate it, Tamara. Thanks for coming through.
Have a good night.
You too, man. You too. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to about 25,000, if you will. Let your thumbs not be lazy. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. always have been, always will be. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. Looking in the comments, and by the way, this is Friday Night Politics. So on Friday nights, we do address topics that, like I said, we have our own, but Friday nights, I don't mind taking a submission. If it's a political topic you would like to be addressed or discussed, state it in the comments. We'll read it, and it may actually be what we're talking about. Looking in the comments, though, let's video call. Darren, I don't know how to do that. You're on YouTube, by the way. Continuing on, cap on Mamdani. What are you saying about that, Lisa? Let me go back to the box. How was that $7,000? What the hell are you referring to? Okay, we'll continue on. Mike, good evening. Welcome to the program, Mike. You there? Mike, good evening.
Yeah, I'm here.
You said
I'm here. What's up,
I saw you said I'm tired of, did you say I'm tired of this subject or something like that?
Yeah, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of this subject, man. I'm so tired of hearing people put someone else because of how they feel or who they want to be in a box, because that's what this country's always done. I'm just so sick of hearing this shit, because you know why? People always get hurt behind it.
What do you mean by put them in a box, so to speak, though? Explain that. What do you mean by that?
When this country's bigotry comes out about how someone's sexual orientation, or if they're black, or if they're Hispanic, if they're gay, if they're fucking short, if they're tall, we always find a reason to attack somebody or try to ostracize a community and then attack them for it. That's just what this country does. Like, that's what this country does. It's so funny. You're talking about Mamdani right now,
right?
And they are trying to equate him to Bin Laden.
Right.
But do they understand that all of the quote unquote Muslim enemies to this country, the U.S. literally fucking created? They actually put him in power and then turned around and demonized him. When Trump's first term, he came in and put a Muslim ban on. Why? Fear mongering. And now you're comparing a U.S. citizen who's now mayor of, clearly he's a citizen, clearly he's above board, or he wouldn't even be in his position, because we know how this country likes to try to go attack people of color and try to.
Do you think that's what it is? Is racism? Like my last caller said?
Sam, look at the picture on your screen. They're trying to they're comparing the man to Osama bin Laden. And you gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, listen, this is the part about white people that drive me crazy in this country, or people that think like that. They act like it's just an innocent, what are you talking about? What do you mean? All this bullshit. But then you put a side-by-side picture of him and Osama bin Laden as if there are any, what's relatable between the two other than their faith?
Well, they're claiming that Mamdani, what do they call him, jihadist or something like that? I mean, they're really
sensitive. They haven't done anything.
No,
they haven't shown any proof, and they don't need to. They don't need to. They're blowing up boats, and they haven't produced any evidence, because they don't need to, because they're not white, because they're people of color. That's why. If there were white people on them boats, them motherfuckers would still be floating on top of the water instead of on the bottom of the ocean. Let's be honest, Tim. Let's just be honest. So people want to be so goddamn comfortable in their racism and their white privilege, it drives me bananas. They want to be so comfortable. Think about this. And before any MAGA, you probably want to wait till I finish saying what I'm saying before you embarrass yourself.
Well, before you say that, Tyler Meek also says they tried to do that with Obama because of his middle name Hussein as well. Did they didn't compare him to Bin Laden, though, did they, Obama?
But they kept saying Barack Hussein, Obama.
Yeah, Trump still does it. Yeah.
It's the same fear-mongering. But here's the thing.
Yeah, Trump still does that.
Before, people don't use their common sense because they want to be comfortable. If these people that were on those boats, if all those boats that they've been blowing up, that they could verify that those people, based on what they're saying, were drug runners, why did they let the two that they rescued go back home?
That is an excellent question that I've been asking a lot of folks who are defending Trump blowing those boats up. Nobody has answered that question as to why would you think somebody is so bad that, you know, they're running such dangerous drugs that you try to kill them. And when they survive, you just set them free. Nobody's been able to answer that. I have no clue why that happened.
And until they can answer that question, don't even have the fucking conversation. Because if you can't justify, you're justifying unaliving them, you should be outraged that they let him go then. Yeah. You should be outraged that they let him go. If they're as bad as they say they are, why'd you let them go?
Yeah. And I said that too. I said that kind of like I used the Lincoln Riley explanation where, you know, Lincoln Riley's life was taken by an illegal immigrant, and it shows that he was once in the custody of authorities and they let him go, and then he goes on to kill. Like, okay, what if this person that you tried to kill because they were dealing with drugs later comes back with more drugs and somebody dies as a result of it? How is that not blood on Trump's hands?
Again, Tim, because they don't, again, I'll say it again, they don't care. They don't care. They just want to be comfortable. They don't want to have to own any of their shit. They want to just do whatever they want to do and not be accountable for it. That's what they do.
But when you look at the outrage that people have, like yourself, of comparing Mamdani to Osama bin Laden, Angie in the comments says, I'm pretty sure calling someone Adolf is worse than calling someone bin Laden. How do you respond to that?
If Mamdani had a track record or a resume that you could look at his resume and you could correlate what Osama bin Laden did to what he's doing, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying. But I know the man doesn't have, and he's done nothing to compare to a terrorist. However,
I was just about to say that because you're going to get asked, what does Trump have on his resume to compare him to Adolf?
Fascism.
They disagree.
Fascism.
They disagree.
Huh?
They disagree.
I just told you, Tim, they're never going to agree because they want to be comfortable in their position. Because if they accept the true 14 tenets of fascism, that everything that Trump and his administration is showing, right, then you'd have to readjust your entire ideology. They don't want to do that. They want to be comfortable. They want to be comfortable in their hatred and their bigotry and their racism. They want to be comfortable in it. They want to wear it like a damn wool blanket. They just want to wrap into it, and they don't want to be cold. They don't want to be wet. They don't want to be too hot. It's like the Three Bears. They want everything to be just right by where you live in this racism.
But Antoinette Harvey in the comments is saying that potentially New York could face potential Sharia law. Now, I haven't heard Mamdani talk about Sharia law, but you know it. Like I think some Republican states like Texas passed laws to prevent Sharia law from taking hold. So,
again,
go ahead.
These motherfuckers is crazy.
Thank you,
and
Lisa.
they want to demonize him because they want to use him as the poster child for the entire Democratic Party. And now they're going to go out and say, this is, you know, we're going to lose our country to the Muslims, and they're going to be blowing up boom booming buildings and all this bullshit. Again, there'll be another cycle of fear mongering. The fact that they will put those two pictures side by side is crazy. Now, the person that asked the question about comparing him to Adolf, if you didn't like that, then why the fuck do you like this?
That's a great point. That's a great point.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, I think it's okay to name call when it's being done to the opposition, but not your side. That's been my analysis of it.
I wouldn't, and by the way, let's be clear, whoever asked that question, that's just not some people comparing Trump to Smittler. J.D. Vance did it. Yeah. Let's be clear.
I think Lindsey Graham did. I think Lindsey Graham did too.
Lindsey Graham did too. Yeah. Everyone in his orbit has said the same things about Trump that the left is saying now. Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, J.D. Vance. I mean, we can go on and on and on of the people that have said these things about Trump. And if you look at the 14 tenets of fascism, he checks every box. Now,
you know, the crazy thing is, now Trump's been in office 9-10 months or whatever, so we've had a chance to see what he's going to do because he's done things. But what do you think led J.D. Vance? Because J.D. Vance said it before Trump was not even Trump. His first term, he wasn't as authoritarian as he is in his second term because he didn't have all of the major players and loyalists behind him. So why do you think J.D. Vance saw that before he even became president?
Well, because he saw what we saw. I was saying the same thing before he became president, but J.D. Vance saw an opportunity because Peter Thiel and the Heritage Foundation, they chose J.D. Vance. Donald Trump didn't choose J.D. Vance. Let's be clear. Trump did not choose J.D. Vance The Heritage Foundation chose J.D. Vance.
Why?
Because they believe he represents
The evangelical.
their white Christian nationalism more than Trump does. I told you there's multiple
Well,
articles.
shit, Trump is saying he's not even a Christian and never asked God for forgiveness. It's pretty, hell, I represent Christianity more than Trump does.
Exactly. But now, mind you, this is the same man talking about boom booming Ghana. Boom booming Ghana because of their precious Christians, and he ain't a fucking Christian himself.
Well, you talking about Nigeria? You talking about the Christians in Nigeria?
I'm sorry, Nigeria. Yeah, and then, but you're boom booming people in this country. Anybody that supports Trump boom booming these boats, you're just as bad as he is because you will just accept anything. And I try to give this example here in the U.S. If a police officer pulls you over, you ask him, "What'd you pull me over for?" Because you want to understand why you're being stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if police officers just started just pew-pewing people, driving too fast, pew-pew, with no evidence whatsoever? With no evidence whatsoever.
Shit, that would be
They
horrible.
have no evidence they don't have any evidence there's narcotics on those boats, Tim. Because that's not even worth it.
Well, you know something, I read an article today, and it was an independent. It was somebody who did their own investigation. I guess they went into Venezuela or whatever. And what they came back with is that some of these folks were low-level mules, but they were in the drug industry. This is somebody who tried to do an independent investigation. I wish I had the article because they were trying to dispel what Trump was doing. And it turns out they were being told by their family members and things like that. These are struggling bus drivers that was just trying to make some money on the side, or this person that just did it for the first time. But the investigation turned out that these people were running drugs. They just viewed their family members that got killed as innocent because they were way down on the totem pole. They weren't ranking cartel members or whatever. So, but I agree with you. It would help if the Trump administration would actually show some proof. That's what I really would like. But before you continue on, Mauricio says, "Real talk, brother. There are Muslims who publicly announce that they won't stop until everyone has Muslims in their homes and their offspring as well as Muslims staring the current state needs to be." What the hell's that mean?
I have no idea. But here's the thing. This is why. And again, but this country, white America, has been telling all other minorities for decades that they are the superior race. And now, and I don't even, just say what he said is true. That's scaring you guys to compare this man to Osama bin Laden. These are the most scary pussy people I've ever heard in my life. Even listen, Tim, even if these boats had narcotics on them, it's not an imminent threat to national security.
No, well, not only is it not an imminent threat to national security, there's no proof that they're coming to the United States with this product. I mean, you're blowing these people up over 1,000 miles away. There's a whole bunch of other countries that are closer to where they're located than America is. So, like I said, if he were, well, first of all, I don't agree with the sentence of murder being for a person that is dealing drugs. That's my person. I don't favor that because I know when they hand down the death penalty, it's handed out unfairly. So that's the first thing. And we've never had a death sentence for dealing drugs. So that's where I have a problem with it. But if you can prove they're coming to the United States, I don't have a problem with catching and arresting them, giving them some kind of trial and throwing them in prison for a lengthy period of time. I would agree with that, but just killing them on the spot, no.
Well, I'm going to give you another question to ask when you have this conversation. You know, I always got some really good questions.
Okay.
If they know they're coming to the U.S. and they know the connect they have in the U.S., When you're moving narcotics, it's like logistics in any other business. You got a to and a from. Well, if they're leaving there and they're coming here, who are they coming to see? Clearly, you know who that is. Yeah. If you know they're coming here, then you fucking know what their destination is and who they're coming to see. Have you heard anything about that? Well,
the excuse they're making is that if they tell you what's going on, it may blow some surveillance or, ruin some kind of operation that's going on. And look, I'm like, you don't kill 70 people. At some point, you got to start telling people something. I mean, okay, the people you killed in the first boat weeks ago, You got to be able to give us something. I mean, the idea that you can't show a satellite photo of a boat being loaded with drugs or something somewhere, like you said, an end destination, or maybe somewhere they were going to stop and fuel along the way. You can't show us anything at all other than them dying. It's hard to accept that.
Have you heard them say, they said they were coming to the U.S., but have they said into Miami or into Texas or or have you heard them say any destination?
I'm not even 100% sure. I'm not even 100% sure the people they blowing up actually are coming from the country they say they. I mean, we don't know the gender. We don't know anything. I mean, they're not showing you who they killed or anything. It's like you just got to totally have 100% confidence in the Trump administration that they're not lying to you. And I don't trust any administration to do that.
Well, they've already proven in this particular case that they're lying. The Pentagon has already said they don't really have any of the identities of the people that were on the boat. That came from the Pentagon. Number one. Number two, if they're so bad, you had to, how come you didn't interrogate them?
Yeah.
And how come you didn't interrogate them and then arrest them and get more information from them? Instead, you just let them fucking go back home. So anybody that believes that this is real, if you believe this is real, you're in a fucking cult. Because there's no evidence that you're ever going to see that's going to convince you that what they told you was a lie. But you had enough evidence in front of you.
I wish that someone else could go and find the two people they let go and interview them. You're right. If they had to put those two people that survived the missile strike on trial and actually gave them due process or something like that, then we could find out more. So to me, it looks like a concerted effort to prevent those people from ever being heard from. That's what I mean. My guess is they may have been told, we'll send you home if you agree to never, get involved in talking about this. I mean, who knows what they may have told them? But the fact is, huh?
No, I said who knows what they said, but I'm gonna tell you what they didn't say. I'm gonna tell you with 100% certainty what they didn't say. They didn't say you're guilty. They didn't say we have evidence. They didn't do any of that shit. Because Tim, if they did, here come the MAGA reacts bullshit. If they did, dumbass MAGA reacts, if they had any evidence to prove it, as narcissistic as this particular administration is, don't you think they would be holding up those? I mean, come on, Tim. Yeah. It's not even up for debate. But to send them back home, tells you, because again, if all they had to do was when they went to rescue them, all they had to do was have some evidence. They haven't shown anything.
I'll also say it like this. If you want to truly just kill them, why not use a Black Hawk? You got the 50 cal hanging off the side. Shoot them up and catch the cargo so you can at least show us that they had the shit on them. I mean, just blowing up everything, the evidence and everything. And also, it's hard to believe, considering how many boats it's been. Not any of these drugs that are usually wrapped in plastic and shit that does float. None of this stuff was recoverable. You couldn't get at least one bale of this stuff? Nothing at all?
Now, one brick. Now, for those that don't know, powder floats, just so you know.
Yeah. Even if it floated long enough just to take photos of it. Like, nothing. Like, you have no evidence whatsoever.
Nothing. And let me say this, Tim, because you had another topic real quick, and I know you got to move it on. There is this whole shutdown, the idea that I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Donald Trump truly cared, he would have already put forward a healthcare plan that he hasn't. He hasn't never put one.
So what do you think the goal is? To just get rid of Obamacare and replace it with nothing?
I think that their goal is to literally just shut the government down and move that money around, because this is the biggest policing of America.
You make it sound like this one big heist.
This is one big heist, Tim. This is one big fucking heist. And that's all it is.
Mike, the hat says "Make America Great Again." How is a big heist going to do that?
It was a lie, Tim. It was a lie, Tim. Listen. This was the biggest scheme that the world has ever seen. And I don't care. They can say whatever they want. But you can't disprove anything I'm telling you, because nothing is helping the American people right now. Nothing. What is helping the American people right now, Tim?
Well, I brought up the fact that he's lowered drugs like Ozempic, Manjaro, and all. That's going to help a lot of people because a lot of folks do have medical ailments dealing with obesity. He's done that according to the press conference he gave yesterday. That does help a lot of American people.
Well, listen, Tim, every press, you tell me the last press conference you can remember where Trump wasn't lying.
He's not 100%. He's not 100% honest, but I tend to believe it may be more truth to this one than not. I believe he probably will lower it to some degree.
Well, and let me tell you this. Anytime Trump does something, it's transactional. Follow what he says, follow his hands on or somebody's hands on the back end of the shit. Trump is not doing anything for the American people that's not transactional for himself, Tim.
You mean he personally is getting some out of it?
Either him or there's a connection there. He's not just doing it for the sake of helping people, Tim. Listen, that press conference doesn't match what's going on right now. Like, this man had a Halloween party while people were not getting benefits during the government shutdown.
Yeah, the Halloween party was a bit insensitive, right? The Great Gatsby, all of that. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I got to move it on, but yeah, right now, while the government is closed, you shouldn't be throwing lavish parties. It just should not be happening.
You said that was insensitive, right?
And I'm being kind. I mean, really, if I be honest, it was fucked up. People ain't getting paid right now. How the fuck you throwing parties?
Okay, with that, I agree with you. With that being said, tell me the last time you can recall Trump saying or doing something sensitive or for the American people. Unifying, anything. I would love to know. He
was very sensitive in regards to the death of Charlie Kirk.
I said the American people.
Oh, well, there's half of them.
And listen, since CK's been gone, now what are we looking at? The new and improved version of Turning Point. You know what's weird about the name of that company, Turning Point? Right. They are making a huge fucking turn, aren't they? By this time next year, you'll be talking about Erica and JD. You want to bet some money?
You really think Erica and JD are going to be paired intimately?
Yes. Would you like to bet some money?
I'm not going to fuck around. I've lost so much money betting against Trump that I'm leaving it alone. But I got to move it on. But JD and look, we'll be around. I want to see. I don't know if you're going to prove me wrong on this one, but you're willing to put money on it. Wow. All right, Mike.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Bro.
Appreciate it.
Later.
By the way, in the comments, folks, if I can move this on. And by the way, tap the screen, get us on up to 35,000. Let your thumbs not be. How many of you folks agree with my last caller? By way of yes or no, do you believe that JD Vance and Erica Kirk will be a couple this time next year? Next Thanksgiving, you're seeing JD Vance and Erica Kirk together. That's pretty quick. Tim, is tonight going to be all leftists? Of course not. Of course not. I want as much MAGA as I can get my hands on. I don't block, ban, or censor. I would love to have as many MAGA come on the program as I can get. Edgy says, so he wants to help black people of Africa. Now the Dems see that as bad proof you guys won't ever give. He's not helping black people in Africa, Edgy. He's helping Christians. He's not doing it to help black people in Africa, because if nobody in Africa, if no Christians are being attacked, he's not going to do shit for those people there. He didn't care nothing about them until it became a Christian thing. And by the way, my personal opinion is it has nothing to do with defending Christians. Christians are being persecuted probably all over the damn planet. It has nothing to do with Christians. Just like I don't believe what's happening off the coast of Venezuela has anything to do with Venezuelan fentanyl. I believe in both cases, the resources of those countries are more at issue than what he's talking about. Just like I don't believe what's going on in Chicago or DC or Portland has anything to do with crime. I think it's about sticking it to the liberals. I think that you're getting a reason that sounds legit to do something that would otherwise be viewed as wrong. You should not send the military to U.S. cities just to stick it to your adversarial party. So you don't come out and say that. You come out and say, well, we're here to lower crime. Even though it's pretty obvious you're skipping over more violent Republican cities. And the same thing with fentanyl. Well, we're here to get rid of fentanyl, even though you're skipping over countries that produce and export a lot more fentanyl than Venezuela. And my guess is there's a lot of Christians being persecuted in places more than Nigeria as well. So I do believe he's using these reasons to go places that he really wants to go for other purposes. Go to bed, says Rui Neves. Go to bed, huh? By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up. We're not going to bed anytime soon. This is indeed Friday Night Politics, where we do not block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly, been MAGA friendly since day one, always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. We don't get as many, but we don't block them, we don't censor them, and we don't limit their commentary when they come around. Going back to the box, we will go straight to MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Thank you, Uncle Jimmy. That's different. MAGA Reacts, good evening.
I got 10 minutes before I have to leave to go see Megyn Kelly.
Really? What is she doing?
She's live in Miami doing one of her shows, I guess. Even though I'm like an hour late.
Okay, fair enough. Megan's a cutie. All right, good enough. So what do you think? Why are they comparing Mamdani?
I want to address something.
Sure.
Why do you keep fluffing Michael? He's the biggest fucking race baiter there is on TikTok that I know. Guess what race that guy from Houston ended up being?
The guy that was hung from the bridge and set afire?
Yes, the guy that he made sound like was a person of color.
Okay.
And all that. And he made it all about race.
Somebody you said that might have been colored.
He was the whitest guy I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. The only thing colored of him was he had a tan because he was homeless. But he was white, super white, like white trash white.
So okay. And we did speculate on it sounding like the way you would take out a black man, but the fact that you have not heard anything else about it probably proves that what you're saying is probably accurate. I didn't follow up on it, so I have not heard it. But why do you say the man is a race baiter?
Well, he made this huge thing about like if he was white, it would be all over the news. It'd be on CNN and Fox and all that. He was white, and it's not all over the news because it's just some boring local news. He does this a lot. He'll find some local shit that doesn't go national, and he'll be like, oh, it didn't go national because of race. And, well, this time he was white, and it still hasn't gone national. It was just some local shit. Like, it's not even on the big local channels. That's probably on, like, the lower channels from the looks of the newscast.
And I see Red G in the comments says because race baiting is good content. I mean, some things are like that. You're definitely right. If it was a black man that turned out to be, you might have BLM or you'd have some civil rights leaders talking about it. And like you said, it's a white guy and it's local news. It gets silenced. Like, for instance, right now I'm noticing with the suspension of SNAP benefits going out, even when I'm watching shows like Good Morning America and the evening news, everybody there is showing that are complaining about how distraught they're going to be that their SNAP, they're all black people. I'm like, you can't find not a white person at all that is upset that their SNAP benefits are not. Everybody they're showing is black. So it definitely, and I'm watching it and I'm saying, this definitely leads me to understand why so many people think that overwhelming majority of people getting SNAP are black people. Because that's all they showing is black people complaining about, well, I can't feed my kids, I'm not getting my food stamps. Like, this is actually applicable to plenty of white people. They just ain't showing them. So I agree with you that some stories are race oriented.
No, that's not it though. Like, he makes it sound like they only care about white people when it's more like the opposite sometimes. You know, if the guy was black, it would have made national news, but because he was white, nobody cares. Not that I'm trying to like say it's unfair or anything. I'm just saying, like, why is he complaining when it's the truth is the opposite? You know?
Well, I think it's the media themselves that are going to sensational. Because, like I said, if it was a black person, you would have civil rights groups and Black Lives Matter making a fuss about it, and then the media would run to them and stick a camera and microphone in their face. Whereas if there are some white folks that are around Houston that are upset about what took place, the media is not going to give them as much attention. Dencal, thank you very much. So that does have
we
a.
still don't know. We still don't know how he got killed. We just know who he is.
Right.
So
We
the
know-
story's still unfolding, but.
But I tell you one thing, it probably didn't go down like you said, when somebody found a corpse and decided to lynch it and set it on fire. I don't think that happened.
Hey, maybe he just committed suicide.
Don't
Someone just
start
set him on
that.
fire.
Don't take that kind of shit to Megyn Kelly, all right? She'll tear you up. You know she's a good one at dropping the F-bomb. So don't take that to me. Who is she interviewing? Who's going to be there with her? Is it just her?
I think Eric Trump is going to be there. Honestly, I got the ticket right after the Charlie Kirk thing because I want to support, the right people not being afraid of going live. I don't even want to go. I'm too exhausted. I've been on the jet ski all day.
Life is hard, huh? Life is hard. I've been jet skiing all day. You didn't say you've been working. You've been fucking jet skiing.
Well,
Life in Miami, goddammit.
I worked my ass off yesterday. And, I run a doctor's office, and my doctor had an emergency, and he had to leave for Pakistan and shit.
Is he gonna get back in?
Bank account in Pakistan.
You sure the Trump administration gonna let your boss back in?
Well, he's my employee, but hopefully. If not, I got a backup.
Oh.
They let the Russian one back in, so hopefully they let the Pakistani one back in.
Well, as Mike might point out, the Russian is white. Didn't what is his name? Elon Musk all of a sudden decide that white immigrants really needed help.
Well, that's the other thing. You guys keep bringing up the 50 white Africans. I'm like, if we can I will allow 50 people from every country if that's all we let in every year. But
50 people from that would be so low. I mean, like there's over 108.
So why are you guys complaining about 50 people from Africa?
Because you guys made it sound like it's a cardinal sin to skip the line in immigration. And here all of a sudden Elon Musk can get people from zero. I don't even think those people had even applied to get here under the Biden administration. Suddenly Trump is president, and within 3 months, they are already here getting residency. So according to you folks, skipping the line was wrong. You got to come legally. Go to the back of the line. What happened to that?
We have no issue with that. No,
you do.
Unvetted and coming in at unlimited numbers without limit.
You guys complain about skipping the line all the damn time. It's unfair to the ones who did it the right way to allow you to skip the line and stay when Biden let them in. You guys were complaining about that constantly.
I know, but that's really like a minor thing. The main issue is coming in unvetted. We don't know who's crossing the border. And just unlimited immigration. That's way too much people coming in at one time. Our infrastructure we don't have enough housing. We don't have enough housing for us. I mean, the entire country has housing issues, and you're letting more people in? That makes no sense to me.
I don't think the entire country has housing issues, MAGA. I think New York or LA somewhere, but middle America, Kansas City don't have housing issues. I mean, if you want to move to Spokane somewhere, there's plenty of places in this country that do not have housing issues.
I know, but the good places all have housing issues, and that's where everybody goes.
Depends on your definition of a good place. Some people like to be...
Especially now that Mamdani is fucking mayor, everybody's gonna move from New York to Miami.
Speaking of Mamdani, why the hell are people comparing him to bin Laden?
I don't know. That's stupid. He's Obama. Like, he's Obama 2.0. But like Obama, I like the guy. I think he's very entertaining. I know he knows how to talk. I like everything about him except how he governs. I think he's gonna be a horrible mayor. But as a person, I don't see one thing wrong with him as a person. It's just him being him,
But when you say he's going to be like Obama 2.0, Obama historically was a good president. I mean, I think he's going to go down in history as a successful president.
I think I think his first term was great. I think his second term was horrible. I liked almost everything he did in his first 4 years. His second 4 years were just a lot of foreign policy blunders. A lot of
give me some of the blunders. I know he had what was it, Fast and Furious. They made a big deal about that. Solyndra. Compared to Trump, how many blunders did Obama have? Give me some of the scandals from Obama that you're saying that his second term sucked. What are you talking about?
Well, personally, he was pro-Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. He supported them and didn't support Sisi when Sisi took over.
Yeah, but you do realize, I mean, if you're gonna bring up supporting the Muslim brother, you do realize President Trump handed Afghanistan back to the Taliban, the people who we viewed as enemies when we got there.
No. He got us out of Afghanistan. They took over during Biden's term.
No,
that was all Biden.
When Biden took office in his botched evacuation when 13 service personnel died under Biden, but when Biden took office, the evacuation was already underway from Trump. Trump is the one that negotiated with the Taliban and told them we were going to leave. Trump is the one that officially returned the Taliban to control in Afghanistan. That came from Trump. Biden just continued to adhere to the promise that Trump had made, which is what a president is supposed to do. He's supposed to follow through on whatever deals we've made with other countries. That's all Biden did. Now, his evacuation was terrible. People died in that, but Trump is the one that gave the Taliban control of Afghanistan.
No.
Yeah.
Where they weren't supposed to take over any territory, and the second they started taking over territory, that deal was like null and void.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Biden honored it, even though they were fucking violating it.
Just based on what you're saying, though, based on what you're saying, you're admitting that Trump made a deal with the Taliban. He negotiated with a terrorist outfit.
Yeah, we're supposed to exit, and the Afghanis are supposed to control the country. They weren't supposed to give it to the Taliban. We spent so much money on their fucking military. They were supposed to be able to stand up to the Taliban with our help. And the second the Taliban started taking over, that would have avoided the deal. If Trump was the president, he would have fucking droned the shit out of them.
Okay, so Trump is the president now. Why isn't he going back and doing that?
Well, they already took over. Now now it's just like Gaza. They're fully integrated with the fucking.
Trump didn't make. You're giving Trump credit for something he did not do. Trump wanted us to leave. Fuck it. We've done it. We've met our objective. We're tired of this shit. He gave it back to the Taliban. All this other stuff you're adding on is not true. That they were not supposed to overrun the Afghans, and if they did, we were going to come. We made no commitments like that. Our commitment was we're getting out of here. We've met our objective, whatever the hell that was, and you can have your country back. Even gave them an airport.
Look, Trump wouldn't have sent soldiers back in, but he would have missiled and droned the shit out of them like he droned everybody else. I mean, he's shooting drug dealers in Venezuela. He's shot everywhere from Iran to whatever in the Middle East. You don't think he was going to bomb these fucking Taliban people as they're trying to get to the cities?
I'm going to tell you,
they're surrounded by civilians.
Normally I might entertain what you're saying, but after threatening Putin a half dozen times and following through and not doing a damn thing, no, I don't think he would have did it. I mean, how many times has he threatened Putin?
Have nukes like Putin. How are you comparing Putin to this?
Because either your word, either your MAGA, either
nothing.
I'm comparing it because either your word means something or it doesn't. You knew Russia had a bunch of nukes when you made the threat. Now all of a sudden, when they don't follow through, but they got a bunch of nukes. You knew that when you threatened them. So no, I don't buy that he would have followed through.
Unlike the Taliban, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia isn't done yet. We'll see how that ends.
I know the man has made over a half a dozen threats. Not only did Russia not bow down to Trump on any of those threats, they're now sending military down to Venezuela to actually interfere with our shit down there. Russia is now entering Venezuela. Putin is like, fuck this dude. Putin is not bowing down to President Trump at all. So no, I don't believe that.
Huh? I don't like to play this what if game with you. I do my best to play it, but the game's not over. We'll see how it ends. I mean,
do you see? Let me ask it to you this way. You're right. The game's not over. We don't know how to end. But do you see Putin as showing like he's scared of Trump? This is a lot of folks said that world leaders are scared of Trump. We finally got somebody in there that people will respect. Do you see Putin as showing respect to President Trump?
I mean, he's showing more respect than he did to Biden.
You said he didn't show Biden any at all, so that's an easy bar to cross.
I don't know. Listen, it's a tough situation because you gotta be tough, but you still don't want to.
That's the excuse.
Nuke something.
It's a tough situation. That's the best you can do.
It's like bullfighting. You know, it's still a fucking bull. Just because you're a man and you could outmaneuver it doesn't mean it can't still fucking poke you and kill you.
I don't think it's like bullfighting. I think it's like bullshit. In the comments, Mr. Winkle says, Mr. Winkle says, no housing, says this moron, he's referring to you, says he needs to pick up fruit. He needs to pick fruit if he doesn't want immigrants that pay taxes and get no benefits.
Not what I never said I don't want immigrants. I'm an immigrant. I want immigrants. I just want controlled immigration.
You said
I don't want
50 immigration. You said 50 immigrants from each country. That's essentially zero.
Well, no, if you guys are going to make a big deal about the Africans, if you're going to keep bringing them up, then how about we let 50 people from every country, whatever color you want, 50 people from every country of every race. You know, if you're going to keep bringing them up, then how about we do it this way? Would that make you happy? No, it wouldn't, because that's nothing.
Well,
so stop bringing them up is what I'm trying to say.
According to Trump, it was going to be more. It was 59 of them. And according to Trump, there were more that was supposed to come until you had a falling out with Elon and suddenly no more came, which makes it clear how they got here. You let 59 of them in from Elon's home country. They all happen to be white from a country like South Africa. You said there was going to be more. You have a falling out with Elon and suddenly there is no more coming in. So it's pretty clear who was getting them people in here.
Look, there was a lot more time to let more people in. Oh, shit. Fuck, I just stepped on my cat. There was more time to let more people in before they got in their fight. And again, like, that's why I always wait for the results. You guys were acting like he was going to let in millions of white Africans. You know, in the end, it was 56. That's why I don't waste my time and shit like that until I know the results.
No, I don't think people thought he was going to let in millions of people. I'm just simply saying, all of a sudden, all of the things that you guys were complaining about, suddenly when it came in by way of Elon, it's only a few of them, so we won't complain about this. You were complaining about people skipping the line and all this stuff. All of a sudden, Elon gets people in under all of the same things you hated and said, well, but it's only 59 of them, so we don't. You're making up excuses for why what's used to be wrong is okay.
You actually cleared up my point very well right there. You could bring in 59 of whatever race, of whatever country you want, and I wouldn't give a fuck. That's what I was trying to say.
We didn't hear that before this happened, though, man.
I wouldn't care. Even if the number was like 1,000, I really wouldn't care. It's when we get to like 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 on top of like 8 million of some other, of everybody else.
So it's okay to do the wrong. It's okay to do the wrong thing.
People of any race, of any color, of anywhere.
So it's okay to do the wrong thing just as long as it's in small numbers.
Yes, of course.
What?
Better small numbers than fucking unlimited billions of millions of people.
I don't know. Maybe you're kicking my ass, MAGA.
A little bit of poison will never kill you. A lot of poison will kill you.
Maybe you're kicking my ass, MAGA, because Jack Ripper says, duh, Tim is being dense on purpose. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, all right, fair enough. I'm going to let you go ahead and get on to Megyn Kelly. Hopefully you enjoy that.
It's supposed to be 7:30. It's 8:30 right now. Hopefully they let me in.
All right. Well,
later.
Good luck, man. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. That is indeed the one and only MAGA Reacts. Tap the screen, get your guy on up to 40,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy, as I often say. The tap into the screen, it helps out the algorithm. Our algorithm is set for MAGA, so it helps bring in a few more MAGA. We like to get when we can get a somewhat of a mix, but it is what it is. Come on, guys. Everyone knows Putin looked at Biden as a clumsy idiot. I'm pretty sure he does not look at Trump. Does not look the same at Trump, rather. Trump's dead serious. Only a fool would think he's an idiot. Christopher, Trump threatened Putin 6 times and did not carry through on any of them. But yet, you're looking at this guy as serious? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. You don't threaten. Remember when Obama threatened, I cannot even think of the guy's name now, but the guy who used to be the president of Syria. He threatened to he said he was going to draw a line in the sand, and if Syria continued using biological weapons on their people, America was going to be forced to act. Obama made one threat. They didn't heed his threat. They continued doing it, and Obama did not carry out his threat and the right tore him a new one. Basically suggested that he was a pussy for making an empty threat. Trump has made about 6 threats to Putin, hasn't followed through on any of them. Yet you're here suggesting that Putin respects Trump. Based on what? Assad, that's his name, Magarex. Yeah, Assad. What would be what kind of sense does that make? Now he's sending his people down to Venezuela to interfere with America's interests down there. How the hell does this look like Putin is respecting Trump at all? And I see in the comments, Balthazar Brad says Putin was laughing at Trump to his face. Yeah, Trump's laying out the red carpet and applauding when the dude walks up, putting him in the limo and shit. Come on now. You know damn well how you guys will react if Obama was applauding when Putin walked up and all kinds of crazy shit like that. You didn't even like Chris Christie giving Obama a hug for his efforts on Hurricane Sandy. But yet this dude could put the enemy in the beast in the presidential limo, and we're going to get out of pass. Some of this don't make sense. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with the one and only Denkow. Good evening, welcome. Debating Trump's foreign policy, join the discussion. AI. How's AI jumping in the chat? We got it. Denkow, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, comparing Mamdani to Bin Laden. Why the hell are they doing that?
Because it's easy for them to make a comparison. Like they use the word Muslim.
Is it a legitimate comparison?
They use the word Muslim automatically tied to radical terror, people. So it's easy to just say, I seen those people on the news and they were like, really? A Muslim? Like that's all they had to say, and it generated outrage by people who this guy obviously has. They were pissed off. They were calling him a Muslim. Then they were pissed off because he was at some rap concert dancing to New York. You know the song. By,
I saw the video. Y'all seen the video on TikTok?
Yeah, they were mad because he was like being American in his age group. Like they want it all different ways. He's a socialist. He's a Muslim.
But he is those things though. He is an open socialist. He is a Muslim. I mean, that is right, what he is.
We've trained the population to think of those things. When he was with black people, oh my God, he's with the blacks. Oh, he's a Muslim. Oh my God, he's Bin Laden. Everything, he's a socialist. Oh, he's Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Like
a lot of trigger words. They also, Trump is calling him a communist as well.
Right. Look, they spent over 20 cents. They got a list of all of the millionaires who contributed to try to stop him. And it was a who's who of the right, of very wealthy people who spent millions of dollars to try to stop him.
Why do you think the right wants to stop an admitted socialist, but the left does not? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's probably more of a separation because you have the upper class, the people want to stop him because he's talking about taxing them more. Yeah. Like those people don't really care about him being a Muslim. They care about him taxing them. The rich people do. But they know the code words to use to make the people who ain't got shit say they don't want him because he gonna fuck everything up.
Now, let's talk about that. The notion that he is going to quote unquote fuck everything up. Do you think a socialist operating as mayor of America's largest city, do you think that it is something that could indeed possibly fuck everything up? I mean, a lot of folks don't favor socialism in a country that was founded on capitalism.
No, because first of all, the mayor doesn't have that much power to turn the whole city of New York into a socialist like haven. He's talking about some socialist policies, which we already are a hybrid country. People always want to put these labels on us. We capitalists, we socialists. He's a communist. They obviously don't know the difference between communists and socialists because they calling him a communist socialist.
Yeah, but then he is talking about making the buses free free daycare, government. What the hell is a government store?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't live in New York, so I'm not sure of all of the policies. But I know if you're in a city that transportation is limited because people can't afford. Well, it's not that they can't afford cars. It's not prudent to have a vehicle when there's nowhere to park. The streets are cluttered. So public transportation is important. I know people who have lived in New York their whole life, never had a driver's license, never had a need to get a driver's license. Public transportation works for them. So if he wants to make a ride on the bus that may cost $1 or $2, if he wants to make that free, to have more free-flowing public access, I don't know what that would do, but it doesn't sound insanely crazy to me his situation.
But you stated as he's only a mayor and he only has so much power. Do you believe he has enough power to make that come to fruition? And how do you respond to folks who suggest if you're going to start giving poor people stuff for free, the rich people are going to bail and move out?
That's the problem. This is him talking about public transportation is not for poor people. It's millionaires in New York that ride the subway, that ride the bus, because that's the way they commute in that society.
Right, I get that, but I'm simply saying,
does he have the ability to look at the financial situation of New York, which is the financial capital of the world, and say we're gonna move like I don't know $10 million or whatever, 100 or whatever it is? Does he have the ability to get the people to bring the people along to allow him to appropriate money for that? I don't know, but I'm not beyond him, giving it a shot. But he got checks and balances just like everybody else.
So then I would have to ask, and thank you, Charles Mathis, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for your support. In regards to giving him a chance, and that is the common phrase coming from the left. Just like when Trump made these wild promises, the common phrase coming from the right was give him a chance. But let's say, for instance, Mamdani is not a complete failure. Do you expect to see more socialists pop up acting as Democrats around the country?
Well, I mean, technically, some of them are. Some of them do have socialist ideas.
Yeah. But they don't come out openly, other than Bernie Sanders and, I don't know, Elizabeth Warren. She has not claimed socialism, or AOC. Have they claimed social? Bernie Sanders has claimed socialism. I believe AOC is at the point now where she's pretty much like his protege. But other than that, most Democrats do not openly claim socialism. It's usually the right affixing that label on them. But Bernie Sanders, he's the one that came out and said, I am, and so has Mamdani.
Right, but the problem with that conversation is we keep on associating being a socialist with a democratic socialist. They tend to put that disclaimer up in front. A democratic socialist is not like a socialist like maybe in Cuba. Like
explain the difference. Explain the difference.
They don't believe that the government, that everybody works for the government and the government serves the people. They don't believe that. We got certain parts of our society, like there are certain Republicans that are actually okay with universal health care. Does that make them a Democrat? No, because that's one part of a government. Yeah. We got a whole bunch of people who, damn near the whole Republican Party, vice a few at the top, believe that Social Security is a great thing for our country. They believe Medicare is a great thing for our seniors and everybody else. So when we pigeonhole people and say, oh, he wants that, so he's a socialist, that's where we make the mistake, because we don't apply that same thing to the other side. Donald Trump could get up there and say some shit that he can get up there and say, take the guns from them and give them due process later. Nobody called him a Democrat. Not one.
Yeah. I don't even think a lot of modern day MAGA even recall. They made such a little fuss on that on right wing media, the media that most MAGA watch. I don't even think a lot of MAGA even realize he said that shit.
They don't. I've seen them on your show when you played it in front of people, and they be talking shit like, no, he did, no, he never said. And then you show them where he was the one who executive order got the bump stocks banned, and he motherfucking was sitting in front of them talking about, hey, fuck the damn NRA. Y'all need to quit being scared of them. Now, when any Democrat gets in office, they trying to take your guns and they want to start a registry. Now the government literally has a registry through Palantir who monitors all weapons purchases, but they don't want to talk about that. Nobody's labeling this government.
Wait. Tell me more. They have a registry. What did you just say?
You know the company Palantir, right? The one that's gathering all of the information for like everybody in the fucking country.
Yeah.
They got the new contracts when Doge came in, and they're gathering information from all Americans about weapons ownership, about everything you could think of. They are gathering this information. But nobody, like you say, I'm sure that the Republicans don't know about this. They don't want to know about this. They'll never look it up, just like they never looked up Project 2025. They'll just believe what Trump said. His old sleepy ass in the damn White House in front of the presentation. Did you see him sleep yesterday?
No, I didn't see that.
I'm talking about, you heard about the guy who passed out in the White House, right?
Yes, I did hear about that.
During that meeting, the guy was up there explaining the stuff, and Donald Trump literally went to fucking sleep on TV.
Wow. Well, here's the fluffy part. I'm gonna get Trump a pass.
I know it, but go ahead and give it to your people.
I'm going to say in President Trump's case, the man holds a schedule like no other. He ain't hold on, hang on. I got it. Let me fluff it up a little bit. It ain't fluffing up. I will say this. President Trump is on the internet and shit 2-3 in the morning. That man he's not like Biden, where Biden is in bed at 8 o'clock. So if the man dozes off occasionally, look, he was probably up running this country, making America great, as the hat says, to 4 o'clock in the morning. So let the man get.
He up at 3 and 4 in the morning tweeting, and you say that's a good job. Like Biden actually trying to keep a regular schedule and go to sleep at night.
Well, but keep in mind, Trump, since they had this alleged ceasefire between Israelis and the Palestinians, he went to Israel for that. He spent the weekend. You know what I'm getting at. He just spent the week in Asia, where he met with the Japanese, South Koreans, and the Chinese all in the same week. That man is busy. He can take a nap every now and then.
If he's really busy, why the hell is he up at 4 o'clock in the morning rage tweeting?
The man has a lot on his mind.
We don't need to know what's on his mind 24 hours a day. We just need to know what he's going to do. We don't need him setting up every show like it's a Hollywood production. He's got to set it up in the morning so people can wake up and respond to it.
Well, this is why some people suggest he's trying to be a dictator or whatever. I'm just going to simply say he is a president that wants to be hands-on in every facet of government. Normally, you surround yourself by the best and brightest, and you give them a lot of autonomy to make decisions, and maybe you just have to sign or whatever. Trump wants to be involved in everything, and that does require you hold a hell of a schedule. He wants to be involved in everything.
But people should be able to manage it to the point where when you're having this discussion about healthcare, that you can stay the fuck awake.
What do you want him doing? No dosing coffee? I mean, look
he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do these things in front of the camera in the Oval Office. They could do it in the press room, and all of them people can speak and get all of the information. But he got to be on. He got to be sitting there and saying, "Hey, do you got something to say?" Right after he says some ridiculous shit that ain't got nothing to do what the meeting is about, he gonna brag about all of the shit he did. He gonna lie about 8 wars and all of this stuff, and then he gonna say, "Go ahead and y'all say something."
Well, let's keep in mind the guy definitely has narcissistic tendencies. He likes being on television. That is his whole claim to fame, going all the way back to the 70s, 80s. He has always been an entertainment, a media mogul, a media darling. He's been a celebrity from day one. That's what rose him to the top. That's probably what helped him become president, is this celebrity status. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he's going to want to always be on TV more than necessary.
Right, but that's gonna work for his domestic audience, but it's not working for the world. Like everybody's not, like he say, everybody respects us, and he's getting on there the same shit they accused Biden of. Biden would get up there and say, "Hey, the economy's getting better.
Yeah.
It's improving. Inflation's going down," and people lost their mind. No, it's not. Don't tell me I'm doing well when I'm not doing well, and don't tell me about the stock market. This dude gets up there and somebody asks him about the American people and how they're feeling, and he says, "You're fake news. The economy is we're doing better than ever before in the history of the world, and you guys are just trying to. You got Trump derangement syndrome, and the prices are down because Walmart said it."
Yeah, he did. I played that clip earlier in the show that he's saying that Walmart prices are 25% less this year than they were this time last year. Just real quick for anybody that didn't hear it.
It'd be devastating if we lost that ruling.
But before the Supreme Court issues a ruling, it could be several weeks. Are you going to lay out any new additional tariffs before?
Actually, this is the wrong clip. This is him suggesting that if the tariffs go down, we're gonna end up having to pay a ton of money back. But this is what I was trying to.
So I just heard this yesterday that Walmart said that the Thanksgiving was 25% more expensive under Biden. That's a big number because Walmart's respected. I mean, Walmart is Walmart, and they're giving you prices. So that would mean that the whole series of pricing and costs, the groceries and everything else, it was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats.
Now, if that's true, which I'm pretty certain it's not, but if that was true, that would be a huge accomplishment if he's brought down grocery prices this Thanksgiving holiday season by 25%. But it does. I haven't heard anybody that believes that. So it looks like that's not true.
Because we all know what he's talking about. He's talking about Walmart's holiday basket, which they have every year. It's an all-in-one basket that gives you your turkey, your stuffing, your sweet potatoes, all of the trimmings, and you get it in one box. Now, what Walmart said was their holiday box was 25% cheaper than last year.
Yeah, but it's missing a whole bunch of shit.
Right, but almost half of the items are missing. Yeah. And all of the regular products, like your turkey might have come from Tyson or Honeysuckle, now it's great value. So the products in there they're no longer the name brands, they're great value. So yes, if you get half the products and less, and less quality of product, yes, but he's using that to try to represent everything in Walmart saying it's down 25%, and it's not. And Walmart had to put out a disclaimer talking about it. But the people will listen to this, and the Trump people who want to believe it, and they'll say, yeah, Walmart is down. Even though they go shop there every fucking 2 weeks, they know the prices ain't down. But when they having a conversation with you or somebody that they think don't know no better, they will go with that and they will hang on it.
How does that work though? That Trump can say something based on what you're saying that even his supporters know is not true, yet they will go online and defend something that they realize is false. If what you're saying is how does that work? How does he get that kind of power?
You have to ask Maggie X because he's on here right now telling me I checked my Instacart. My groceries are cheaper from Publix. Like he's talking about some anecdotal bullshit. We're talking about the cost of living and the price of groceries nationwide. And he talking about, well, he is telling the truth because my Instacart say I'm paying less. That's a fucking lie, man. It's just a lie. And I don't know how else to put it. You got to ask him why he get on here and try to defend some shit that he could easily go online and find the grocery index and we could find out on average how much food has increased or decreased, which it hasn't decreased.
Yeah, I got one of my viewers, Forever C10, says they're saying turkeys are up 75%. Is that true? Now, one of my viewers earlier, though, said the bird flu has returned. And that may end up hurting the price of poultry, but 75%, no turkey this holiday, huh? Shit, I may be fucking
Yeah,
I may be eating steak.
I don't know. Look, hey, I seen one person say that instead of turkeys in that gift box at Walmart, they got Cornish hens.
75. So I mean, how much I don't think I've ever bought a whole turkey, but I know they're not cheap, but a 70 that thing's got to cost what, about $70? How much does a turkey cost?
I don't know about 75%. That might be in his local area, and I'm not gonna say that he is or not telling the truth. I haven't bought my turkey this year. I usually buy a smaller turkey around between 16 to 20 pounds. A lot of people buy big turkeys because they serve a lot of people. They buy 20 to 25 pounds. I don't do that, but I probably pay about, between, $20, $30 maybe for a turkey. So I don't know about the 75%, but I guarantee you the turkey I buy is going to cost more than it cost last year. I can guarantee you that.
So in other words, Trump's promise of lowering grocery prices so far is not true?
F.
Huh?
F for failure. F for failure.
Wow. Do you think?
I remember like MAGA reacts and Jeremy and stuff, because remember when he first got elected and we were talking about the stuff he promised, they were saying, what were they saying? Oh, he's just been in a month. Give him, we're going to see if the tariffs work when they started. Give him about 3 to 6 months and we're going to see it. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a whole year.
I still got people saying it, just give him a little bit more time and he'll prove the election in 2020 was stolen. So, I mean, people are going to give him infinite amount of time. I guess after he passes away, people will still be talking about it. It was made confidential like the Martin Luther King or JFK files. Eventually, you'll find out that the left stole the 2020 election. I think they're giving him a wide berth. It doesn't matter. Eventually, somewhere in the future.
Look, some of them waiting for him to croak, so they'd be like, he was going to do it. He was about to do it.
He was just about to do it. Oh, my God.
Hey, before I go, though, I just wanted to say a couple of things, especially MAGA reacts, because one thing he doesn't know about foreign affairs. He talks that I'm an immigrant stuff, but that stuff he was talking about, listen, Trump negotiated solely with the Taliban, not our allies, the Afghan army. He offered to bring the Taliban to Camp David on 9/11. I just want that to sink in for people. On 9/11.
I remember that. I remember the controversy.
Then he left them out of negotiations, which basically let the Afghans know that America had given up on them. That is why they dropped their weapons after the release of that base, because they knew that they had no support from America. Also in the negotiation, he released 5,000 Taliban troops.
Yeah.
5,000 Talibans in this negotiation and left our allies completely out of the conversation. When Biden got in office, he was doing what American presidents are supposed to do. They're supposed to follow through with the agreements that have been signed by your predecessors. He postponed the withdrawal twice, trying to get things in a better situation. But Trump had withdrew down the troop to only 2,500 people. So he couldn't do a lot of maneuvering. It got to the point where the Taliban at that point had said, listen, you can't keep bullshitting us no more. You said you was out of here, and we had to follow through with the withdrawal.
I didn't know this much detail about it. I will say that.
Yes. Was it a mess? Yes. But in lieu of all the things that were going down, he could not, MAGA reacts talking about what Trump would have sent in drones and the American people were celebrating getting out of there. In order to
I don't know. I gotta slightly take the side of MAGA reacts. It seems like there should have been a way that Biden could have done that better than having all those service personnel die.
I was about to get to it. The only way he could have done something was he would have had to do what we call a surge and put more American troops on the ground in Afghanistan, what we knew at that point had been fully taken over by the Taliban on an agreement that we would be out of there. There would have been much more death and destruction had we surged a bunch of troops in there and tried to tap down the Taliban after we gave them in this agreement. Now, people gonna disagree about the strategy and all. I'm just letting you know that the people on the ground had much harder decisions to make. We had a country that was not for no surging troops.
No.
They wouldn't have cared what kind of agreement.
Well, I'm not knowledgeable enough to go into that much detail. But even if what you're saying is true, at the end of the day, that failure is going to fall on the Biden administration. 13 people died.
He ultimately made the decision he had generals and people that were opposed to moving out of there. And there were people who were talking about, well, let's just keep the base and all of that stuff. So he made executive decisions by the information that he had. It didn't work out to our advantage. We lost some, obviously some soldiers. And that's what a commander-in-chief does. You can't just say, well, he fucked everything up when he had to go by.
It seemed like there has. I don't listen. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna definitely be called. Suggested it's gonna be suggested that I'm fluffing here, but I don't believe that would happen under Trump. I think Trump would have did the surge. I don't think those 13 service personnel would have died under Trump. I don't even know if they would have died under Obama. I think the way Biden handled that, even though he was following up with Trump's promise, Biden deserves blame for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, everybody who understands that a commander-in-chief, they make decisions, sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. I mean, we had generals during D-Day who literally threw waves of people that we knew were going to die in the tens of thousands at a problem. And we call them great people. So it just depends on your perspective. Somebody that was in the military kind of understands that the decisions you make are based off of the information that you have and the understanding you have of the situation.
And I can't argue with that. Denker, I do got to move it on. As always, thank you for coming through.
All right.
Maybe two. All right. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy likes on up. Very lazy hands in here. We should have been about 60,000. I'll take the next caller at 50,000. Thank you, Charles Mathis. Says awesome show. Awesome show. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Will G says you see retail stores putting out Black Santas. Do I? I haven't been looking. Have I seen any retail stores putting out Black Santas? My guess is if you wanted a Black Santa, you could easily find one on Amazon. Are they available at Target or Walmart? Probably depends on what neighborhood you're at. And now you're not going to find, rural Louisiana Walmart carrying Black Santas probably. And there's a lot of blacks in Louisiana, or Maine somewhere where there's no black people. So I would say though, if you went to Amazon, which is where I purchase a lot of my shit nowadays, you could probably find a Black Santa pretty easy on Amazon. So, but retail stores, I don't know. What are you suggesting though? I mean, is there a huge market for Black Santas? I actually have about 6 of them, but I mean, is there a huge market for it? So, who's Sleepy Joe? We've got President Dozing Donnie. Look, people have been trying to brand Trump because Trump is so successful at branding people with nicknames. A lot of folks try to, try to compete and create nicknames for Trump. It's hard to find nicknames that work. So Dozing Donnie, not bad. I think if you say it more, if you keep saying it over and over again, it probably would stick. But because obviously Sleepy Joe, sounding kind of similar to Sloppy Joe, like the Sloppy Joes you used to eat. Sleepy Joe Biden will stick on. I mean, I think the MAGA that are with us now, you could be talking about Joe Biden 30 years from now, and they're probably going to say Sleepy Joe because they've been used to that nickname. Dozing Donnie, though. Dozing Donnie. We could work with Taco. I see Reed said, I like Taco. Trump always chickens out. That's what those acronyms mean. I mentioned Trump threatening Putin a half dozen times, not following through at all. Many of his tariffs the same way. So Taco is a fair, there's a lot of accuracy to that. Oh yeah, Turkey is outrageously high. 75% more though, Charles. That's a lot. Mamdani will bankrupt New York City, says Jeremy. I don't know. Listen. I'm going to say the same thing that the right said about Trump. You got to get a guy a chance. I can clearly remember 2007, folks suggesting that Obama's socialist policies would bankrupt America. They said the same thing about universal health care, that universal health care, we couldn't afford it. We got 350 million people. There's no way we could afford to do this. It'll bankrupt the country. Didn't happen. It did not happen. So some of that is fear mongering. Just like I'm sure if you lean right, you can come up with things that the left said about Trump that also you may view as fear mongering. I don't think Mamdani is going to bankrupt New York for what my last caller Denkow said. He's just a mayor. He doesn't have the power to do it. Listen, some of the things that Mamdani is promising, view it like Trump saying he's going to end the Ukraine-Russian war in 24 hours. Some of that shit might just be a politician knowing what to say to resonate with the voters, because that is what you can attribute to a lot of promises from Trump. He was a politician that knew how to speak and orate to the voters. He knew how to say what they wanted to hear. Mamdani may be doing some of that too. You may see some of the folks on the right chastising and criticizing Mamdani in the future about all the promises he made that he didn't keep. Well, Trump is doing that right now. So if he only meets some of those promises, though, just like if Trump only meets some of his promises, the supporters are still going to like him. He promised stuff like free daycare, free buses, rent control, government store. You don't have to meet all of those. If he came up with some kind of system where daycare was free or cut in half significantly, and he provided a lot of free public transportation, he could actually fail on the other promises, and that would be huge for the left in his city. So just like with Trump is only meeting some of his promises, and the right are happy. So you gotta view it like that. Anyway, we'll go back to the box. He promised those things. That's what he ran on to fight people. Big difference. Yeah, there's some of that, Arsha. I don't disagree with that. Going back to the box, we'll go to Jay Fire. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Mamdani never answered a question. He always spun. Opponents never once said, Mamdani answered questions. I don't agree with that. He did answer. He may have not answered questions the way you liked. He may not answer all of them, but he answered questions. My last guest did not come up. Democratic socialism is not communism. Communism is a stronger trigger word. After years of calling Obama a socialist, and Obama ended up getting 2 terms successfully, Bernie Sanders was admitted to being a socialist. It has not reduced the popularity of Bernie Sanders. And of course, they've tagged it on Elizabeth Warren and AOC, and AOC's popularity is continuing to grow. So my guess is they're yelling out communists because tagging somebody as a socialist is not as triggering anymore. It's not scaring away anybody on the left, and even some independents are not running from it anymore. So they got to come up with a stronger term, which is communism, and some are even calling him a Marxist. He's not claiming to be any of that stuff, but he is claiming to be a socialist. Let me go back to the box, and we'll go to Arshafine. Good evening. MAGA begging for FEMA in healthcare and benefits. Whatever happened to the folks who needed FEMA in North Carolina after that hurricane that Biden supposedly only gave them $700? Have you heard of Trump doing more for them since that happened? Because Trump's been in office almost a year. Arsha, good evening.
What is going on with you and your shirt and tie these last few weeks?
Yeah,
what you doing?
This is what
are we like? You're looking fly, guy. I'm just gonna say you're looking good. I will compliment a man or a woman.
I had someone tell me on yesterday's show I dress like I'm serving the next meal at Olive Garden.
I don't know about that.
Do they have those in your state?
Hawaii?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Oregon originally. I think I've been to an Olive Garden once in my life, but I tend to not frequent corporate chains. I like to frequent small business.
Okay, fair enough.
Or food trucks. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way I am. But anyway, I have noticed you're the Thai guy now.
This is what the closet had to offer today.
And you're wet, but I'm like, you could change and be a little bit more cash, but anyway.
I've done whole lives in my robe. I had to come down once. Something.
I know. I've seen you in all the things. I've seen you in your car, but I was like, what is going on? What is this new job? Are you corporate? Are you on Wall Street these days? Anyway,
we just want to deliver an interesting product. So.
Yeah. So I want to say some things because I've heard a lot of things today. Oh my gosh, my brain is like a mashed potato. MAGA reacts.
Oh no, you're talking about the guest. Okay.
MAGA reacts is an immigrant, if I recall.
He's Egyptian, yes.
He's from Egypt.
Yeah.
He came in here the right way. In quotations, okay. Like a lot of other people have come in the right way.
Okay.
But he does benefit. MAGA reacts. I'm sorry to tell you this. You benefit from white privilege because of where you come from.
Egypt.
Anyway. Yes, because I have Persian friends. They actually they're not considered Arab. They're considered Caucasian.
Really?
Yes.
I've never heard of that.
And it was actually a fight, and it went upon the Supreme Court that Persians and certain Middle Easterners and North Africans were considered Caucasian for certain rights and not to be considered colored.
So do you believe that
I want him to investigate that. I think for him speaking on certain things, he is naive, which a lot of us are to different things. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Okay. Do you believe, and I see Jermaine, you said Trump set Biden up for failure in Afghanistan. I don't know. That didn't have to happen. I don't think the 13 deaths had to happen. I think that's on Biden.
Listen,
but go ahead.
Listen. I honestly, if we're going to talk about the Afghanistan thing.
I was actually going to go along the line of what you were saying. I was going to ask you in 2025, do you believe race still plays a part on whether or not you can immigrate to America?
Are you joking with me right now?
People suggest that we're in a post-racial America.
Tim. Shut the fuck up. I love you to death. But you know the answer to that question. You're setting me up for failure, bro.
I've been told that, that stuff is ended.
Of course it does. Black South Africans cannot migrate here, but Afrikaners can. Yes, bro. We're okay.
Well, let me interrupt to say this. I don't think the white South Afrikaners got a pass because they're white. I think they got a pass because Elon. If those people had tried to do that on their own, they would not have gotten this country that quick. That was Elon.
Well, you just answered. Why did Elon give them a pass, Tim?
He liked them.
Was he giving any other South Africans a pass?
My guess is he probably.
Elon Musk sleep with brown people?
I don't know. They said Trump had a black. Well, they said Trump had a black girlfriend.
No, what I'm saying is, did he procreate intentional? Okay, Tim, you know the reason why he was fighting for those people. He's not fighting for other South Africans.
Let me just say it like this. I'm not certain.
That's a rhetorical question.
I'm not certain that the only reason Elon fought to have those people come to America was because they're white. My guess is he probably has more of a relationship with them other than just his skin color. They're either family members, friends of family members, friends of associates. My guess is if you
White
actually
supremacists.
if you
Yes,
actually looked
absolutely.
into those people, you probably would find out they have some kind of connection, business wise, family wise, associate wise, to Elon
To
Musk.
his grandfather, who moved there to instill. Have you looked up this family? I'm not. Listen, I do not want to spend my breath or air
Okay.
or on Elon Musk.
All right. Move it on. What are you here for?
Well, I'm here for you, but so Mamdani, right?
Mamdani. The guy that's currently being compared to Osama bin Laden. Yes. What about him?
I think, in my opinion, I'm a 51-year-old woman. I have of color, and I have knocked on doors, registered people to vote, talked about the things since 1992 when I turned 18. And what I will say, the reason I was a Clinton door knocker and a Barack Obama door knocker, and I probably would have done the same thing if I lived in New York City, is it's something different. It's something different and it's something new. They're not in here for 40 years. They don't have a dynasty. He ran on 3 ideas: freezing the rent, making New York City affordable, which we all know is a very expensive place to live. The buses being better. I grew up in Portland, Oregon. We had free buses. Within a certain grid of the city center, wow. All of the buses you could just hop on, or the trains, for free. I have four family members that have retired from TriMet, the public transportation system. We have probably, it's a great system. So yes, you can get people from one place to another for free, fast and friendly.
I would listen if it was a small town where you had a lot of people driving their own cars, and you had
it was only within this certain city grid, Tim. And Mamdani is only gonna be the mayor of New York City. He's not the governor. He's not trying to make all of New York free. But
that's where all the people are. Arsha, that's where most of the population in that state is in his city.
You know what? If you can create, and again, I'm going to say, I lived in a city. Yes, it's not as big as New York. We have like 1 million people or something like that. But if a little shit state of Oregon can do it within their city center, yes, it is possible.
Yeah, but you didn't hear what I was saying. You didn't hear what I said, though. I'm saying that if it's in a city where the majority of people drive their own cars, and the folks who don't have cars, you got this free bus system. You can, a lot of the taxes that it take to operate a motor vehicle, register, you can put city stickers and stuff like that, can help pay for that. But in New York, most people take the bus. So you're gonna have everybody trying to write this. I don't see how it gets done.
So I'm gonna tell you, as a person who worked in downtown, I could either choose to take a bus or a train from the suburbs, or I could pay $150 a month to park my car where I worked and deal with traffic. I chose sitting and going and getting myself a bus pass, and then once I had my and I could travel with it. It's to each their own. But offering it. My brother lived in New York. He lived in Brooklyn, and he lived in the Bronx. He's never owned a car because, living in New York, he's like, why would you have to pay for your parking?
But this is going to lead to higher taxes. And how do you respond to folks who suggest that if you start adding these taxes on, a lot of the upper members of New York society are going to move? I don't want to pay. Just move out to the suburbs. Just get right outside of Mamdani's reach. You can move to a neighboring suburb and avoid this shit.
I don't know. And again, he hasn't even taken the oath of office.
Yeah, but he's made some big promises, Arsha. He's promised to have government stores and how much daycare costs? He's going to give free daycare?
he made some very important and listen, Donald Trump, okay, he said gas was going to be cheaper. My gas prices have not gone down in a year.
Wow.
He said that grocery prices and I would be able to save money. Nope, they're actually a little bit more expensive than last year.
So what's your point on Mamdani though?
But my point is, a candidate can promise and pitch something, but once they come in, if the, I mean, I love his spirit. I think he's like, I love Mamdani's spirit. I love where he's going. I love that
they didn't vote for a ghost. They vote for success, not spirit. They didn't vote for a ghost.
He spoke for something different, and I think that's where we need to go as a country.
Will it be accomplished? Promises made, promises kept, or promises made, promises failed. Can he do what he promised?
Tim, if he can get even one of the things that he ran on done, it will help New York.
Yeah. That's kind of what I think will happen is he's not going to succeed on all of these, but I do believe
right now I'm not feeling my president helping me with any of the shit he promised. Like I'm paying the same amount for gas as I was last year. I'm paying more for meat. I'm paying the same amount for vegetable. Like nothing is going better.
Well, he is suggesting that the tariffs will eventually translate into money for Americans. He's only been around 9 months. If you give him time, those tariffs will translate into money for us. I mean, he's claiming he saved billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse through federal firings and things like that.
Okay, where's my check? Where's my check?
Maybe there's one coming.
Shut up, Tim. We both know there's no.
I just said he might.
He is not.
Would that make you change your tune on Trump if he did send everybody, let's say $600-700, $1,000 or so?
Listen, if I could pay less than $4 or $5, I'm paying what, $4.88 for gas. If I go to Costco, it's like, which I have to drive there, is like 30 minutes. If I go to Costco, I can get gas for like $3 something. Yeah. I don't know. Show me the money. And then the name of freaking, the guy.
So the jury is still out. So if he does meet some of his promises, talking about President Trump, you could potentially change your tune on him. Am I correct? We don't have Derangement syndrome here, right? We do not. No one has Derangement syndrome.
I don't listen. If any congressional legislation or any presidential power helps me or my family, I will not deny that has happened.
All right.
But here we are. And I only see my gas is at a stalemate. My groceries are only getting more expensive. And
it's only the 9th one. I got to move it on, but we did make progress. We did make progress. You have admitted, though, that if he starts to meet some of his promises, he has 3 years plus to do so. You might be okay with a hat. Might be okay.
But listen, I'm gonna say one thing. Dick Cheney, also known as Darth Vader, he passed away this past weekend. What I will say about George W. Bush. God, I'm gonna freaking wash my mouth out with soap after this. Anyway, he, during times of trouble and crisis, really managed to bring the country together.
During Hurricane Katrina, he brought the country together. Are you sure?
No. I'm saying no. 9/11. I mean, he was there on a lot of bad things. Okay, I'm not saying he was a perfect president, but you know what? I would take a George W. right now, bro. And I guarantee you, so would the rest of it. Just bring us together and go shoot some freaking geese or whatever the fuck he did on his little buckshot or whatever. But like, at least, you know, and you know, when you heard about, he was in his memoir when Kanye West came out with that song, George Bush doesn't care about black people. George actually cried.
Yeah, I got his book right over here where he said that, Decision Points, somewhere over here. I do have his book right next to me.
He felt like a really, really but you know what? The difference is he didn't get stuck in his feels in a public way and retaliate.
That's why they like Trump. I gotta move it on, Arsha. Appreciate you coming in. I gotta move it on. You're getting in the ocean. You're getting in the ocean. You're getting in the ocean.
Let's go swimming, bro.
Sure. Hawaii, anytime. Gotta go. By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 65. We can make that happen. I recommend the audio book because it's narrated by George himself. I don't like, you know, I've been thinking about getting audio books because my collection is building up and you don't have room as much. But I've always liked the physical hard copy. But yeah, the audio books are where it's at. You can audiobooks and Kindles and things like that, the digital copies. I've always liked the physical books. I'm old school, but I may start doing that. Real quick in the comments, S says, this is my favorite LGBTQ plus channel. Don't know where that's coming from, but S, thank you for the super chat. Continuing on, and by the way, tap the screen, get us up to 65,000. By the way, folks, you know how the program is ran. We are MAGA friendly, always have been MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. If you enjoy uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, we don't block anyone on this program, regardless of their political affiliation. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. If you enjoy uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, do your boy a favor, give us a sub. If you happen to be watching live on YouTube, follow the program if you're currently watching live on Instagram, TikTok, or X. We're currently on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Do you have a Trump edition Bible at all? I hear they're going cheap. No, I have not got. Listen, I don't. Listen, some of the stuff that Trump, in fact, all of the stuff that Trump sells, which could be political artifacts that could end up being, you know, they could be collector's items or whatever. The problem is everything that the Trump administration sells is greatly overpriced. Greatly overpriced. Watches, shoes, Bibles. The Bible's like $60 or something like that. What the fuck? What else is he selling? I'm trying to think of some of the other shit. You've seen just cologne. I think the Trump cologne was like $200 a bottle. I mean, they mark that stuff up so high that it's like, damn, it's ridiculous at the price of anything that's got Trump's name on it. I get the guy was affiliated with luxury and wealth in the elite, but it just comes across as a con job. A $60 Bible. Not even, you can't even sell God properly. Like, God damn. Anyway, looking in the comments, people are crazy fighting for those warmongers. Here's the problem with that, though. SDH, whatever the rest of that says, 3T. A lot of the right, my beloved MAGA, are criticizing the Bush administration because of the way Trump responded to Cheney's death, by the way, by saying that, you know, they were a warmonger thing. Two issues I want to bring up. First issue being most of the folks that are talking about how bad the Bush administration was, most of the MAGA that are talking about how awful they were in war, those are the same people that were fighting on behalf of that war when it was actually happening. The same folks that were calling folks like Cindy Sheehan and the Dixie Chicks unpatriotic for speaking out against the war. This is the same group of people that voted Bush and Cheney in the White House to begin with. Now all of a sudden you want to tell us they're warmongers when the people who were actually complaining that they were warmongers when they were actually at war were being called, you know, unpatriotic, saying that they hate America. The liberals were totally against that war. And the right was saying all kinds of horrible shit about them, up to and including the Dixie Chicks facing cancel culture, laughing at Cindy Sheehan. And what was the other girl? I can't think of the woman. I cannot think of her name. What the hell is her name? But she was another one that was speaking out. Another one of the celebrities, Hollywood celebrities, that was speaking out against the war. And the right was just all over those people. Now you want to point out when Cheney dies that they were warmongers. Could have surely used you back in 2003. So I don't favor that at all. And the second thing, in addition to being the ones who put them in power, you're calling Cheney a warmonger, yet Trump is. How many countries have Trump threatened? How many countries have Trump threatened to impose an act of war on? He started out talking about taking Greenland by military force. I don't know what the hell making Canada a 51st state amounts to, but you would have to use an act of war to do it. He talked about taking back the Panama Canal. Now we got a huge buildup in Venezuela. We've bombed Iran. I mean, like, shit, you're going to talk about warmongering. The only reason we're not at war right now is those countries just let us get away with doing it. Iran let us bomb their nuclear facilities and they didn't really respond. Venezuela's not responding to their citizens being blown up. I mean, Trump is actually doing everything it takes to be a warmonger. The only difference is those countries ain't responding. He's committed several acts of war already. Those countries are just not responding in kind. Most of the stuff, not most, all of it, all of the stuff that Trump has done in those other countries, if somebody did that to us, we would be at war with them. We would actually be at war with them already. So I don't see how he escapes the warmonger label. Just because people are bowing down and letting you get away with it don't mean you're not a warmonger. RGB says, did Obama say something about you can promise a lot, but find out it was hard to keep? Yes, Obama did state that. He said that Trump's going to find out when he gets in the White House that you can promise stuff, but it's going to be real hard to actually do it. And that's exactly what happened. Obama was referring to Trump's first term. Now, Trump's second term, he is able to accomplish a lot more of what he promised because he's surrounded by loyalists and he has a lot more power. But his first term, yeah, he promised a lot of stuff and it did not come to fruition. And Obama is known for saying that. Charles Mathis, thank you very much. People change their minds, says Jeremy. Or sometimes people fail at their promise and then suggest the only reason I failed because I changed my mind. One of my subs. Jeremy, good evening. Welcome to the program. Jeremy, I'm curious what borough Jeremy, you're in New York?
No, I'm not in New York. I don't have to be to know what economics will look like.
Well, now I get that you're suggesting that Mamdani is going to destroy New York. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, he's economically illiterate.
Well, what about the notion that, as people are pointing out, he's only a mayor, and even though he's saying a lot of this stuff, he can only do so much. I mean, most of the stuff he's talking about, a mayor doesn't have the power many would suggest to even deliver on this stuff.
Well, here's the thing. So regardless of whether he has the ability to do certain things, ultimately, like I remember Cuomo even talking about like how he can't just simply freeze like people's rents, right? He can't freeze how much it is. Like that's like up to the rent board, right? Or something like that. I think Cuomo said that in one of the debates.
Okay.
Yeah. So I understand that and that there's limitations, and that's a good thing because here's the thing. The reason why America has so little corruption compared to like the third world and other places is because we have such a divide of power that no one person can have so much power where they can just do whatever they want.
Some would suggest that that's disappearing under Trump.
Well, remember, Trump's only able to do what he's able to do because he has a lot of allies who are in other offices who he has to work with.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't think Trump is working with anyone. I think Trump is bullying them into realizing either you let me do this shit or I'm going to tear your career up. I mean, I don't think a large portion of the Republican Congress agree with a lot of things he's doing. Like, there's no way in hell. Let me tell you this. I'll just say it this way. If you had a liberal doing the exact same things that Trump is doing, leading the country the exact same way, the right would be outraged.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But my point is, he's like, even if the tactics he's using to get his way are bullying, ultimately the tactics he's using are necessitate that other people do what he wants them to do. He can't just do things. He's not a CEO where he can just say, snap his fingers and just be like, this shall be, and then it suddenly is.
How is he not that? I mean, the White House, the Qatar, the jet from Qatar. Wait a minute, the White House, the jet from Qatar. He is snapping his fingers and saying it shall be.
Not really, because there are certain laws that he asked that in order to get passed, they have to first go through Congress. That's the whole idea of the separation of power.
Jeremy, he tariffed the whole fucking world without getting permission.
That's fine. That's fine. And I'm saying there's certain things that he can't do. And back to Mamdani, there's certain things that Mamdani can't do, no matter what he tries to do. And that's a good thing. And that's perfectly fine. Here's the thing. That doesn't mean that his ideas and policies aren't bad. That doesn't mean his ideas don't suddenly work because he's not able to implement them. Just because you're unable to like stick a fork into an electrical unit doesn't mean that it's not a bad idea to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Mamdani kind of reminds me of Obama telling Joe the plumber, sometimes you got to spread the wealth around. And people knew when Obama said that you can't do it. And of course, he became president and he didn't do it. But overall, he is viewed as having a successful 2 terms. And by the way, folks, help your boy get the TikTok cap go. Support the program. Thank you. And tap the screen. Get the likes up to 65. Get the likes up to 65. Wait a minute. Hold on. Get the likes up to 65,000. Tap the screen. What did you say?
So let's break down what he wants to do. And let's just say he has carte blanche to do it. Let's say that he has all the right people in all the right positions where they're like, yes, Mamdani, we shall do what you want. What does daddy need today? You know what I mean? Whatever kind of sycophant bullshit they want to
pull. Your side is the side that's calling your leader daddy. You actually got people wearing T-shirts and shit that are saying daddy's home. Your side is actually doing that.
Okay. That's a whataboutism, and it seems like a distraction from what I'm about to say.
Keep going.
Okay, so if let's say he gets carte blanche and can do whatever he wants, and let's say he's able to now freeze the rent for many New Yorkers, okay, make sure that rent can go up. You want to know what's going to happen?
What?
It's what's already been happening in New York. People are just pulling rental units off the market the second they become vacant. That's what's been happening.
Wait a minute. What do
you
mean?
There are tons of vacant. No, I'm dead serious. Look it up, Tim. There are tons of vacant residencies. Vacant.
What sense does that make? If you got an apartment that you need to rent, why the hell would you leave it vacant?
It's simple because if you stabilize the rent and you decide like you can't go above a certain price. Here's the thing, shortages always happen whenever you put in price controls because there are going to be economic forces that sometimes demand that you raise prices or lower prices on things. It happens all the time.
I used to own...
When it comes to rent, hold on, no, let me finish. When it comes to rent, one of the things that stops people from being able to rent at the same price and requires them to increase the rent is maintenance. There are tons of times where buildings need to be brought up to code or apartments need to be renovated in order to really sustain the apartments. And guess what? Or simply something like inflation comes around and now the dollar is not worth as much. So you need to increase the amount of dollars.
I think you're speculating. I'll tell you, as someone who used to own several apartment buildings, I had like 20 tenants at one, because I had these 2 flats all, in different spots all over Chicago. And I needed that rent to help pay the mortgage. Their rents would pay my mortgage, and it would leave me a little bit of profit in each one of my properties. Right. If Chicago imposed some sort of rent limit, I'm not gonna have my places empty. That's crazy. I mean, I would try to make what I could make happen in the parameters they gave me, but I'm not gonna empty all my apartments out. That makes no sense.
It makes sense if it makes it so that way, if like the rent stabilization makes it so that way you have so little money coming in that it actually costs more to sustain it than it does to actually.
You're not making any sense to me at all. Tell me how I'm going to benefit. Now, it's one thing if they listen. He's not saying he's going to lower the rent so damn low that you as an apartment owner are going to end up going belly up. I mean, like, why would I leave the place empty? That don't make sense.
That sometimes does happen, though, Tim. Sometimes these places, because they've been rent stabilized for so long, and they haven't been able to increase the rent to meet things like inflation, or been able to like upgrade things in the apartments, or do any kind of maintenance on the apartments, and they realize it's too much. It's too expensive to do these renovations, and then get screwed over. And not
I'm still if he puts a price control on me. and it's too low, I'm gonna try to sell the property. I'm not gonna empty it out. Because an empty apartment still needs maintenance, security. Because now people gonna know ain't nobody in there. Maybe try to break in. I'm not gonna have the place empty. That's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah, but not everyone's in the market to buy. And so what do? They take it off the market because it's a major loss. It's a loss in profits. There's no point.
He would have to really reduce rents a whole lot for a landlord to choose the option.
What do you think the government is trying to do right now? What do you think Mamdani's plan is? It's economically illiterate. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I think you were
and ultimately, there's a lot of places in New York that are just being vacated.
If he said something like, "I'm gonna cut rents by 75% or something like that," you would have a point. But he said he's going to put a rent cap. He didn't specify how much it's going to be or anything. I think you're way over speculating. I think you're painting a catastrophe when you don't have any other numbers to work the formula out. You don't know what he's going to cut it. He may just simply say the rents that are here right now, I want to freeze them and you can't increase them. Nobody needs to vacate their apartments based on that.
They can and they will. They're going into it's going to happen. And Tim, we see this in places where there's a lot of rent control and where there's not a lot of rent control. We see the exact opposite. You want to know something? I've seen cities in the Midwest that are sizable, that are not small cities at all. They're like medium to large size cities, is where you can get an apartment and it's like in one bedroom all to yourself for like $800 a month. You want to know why? Because they don't have a shortage of rentals.
New York, I don't see what you're suggesting is going to happen unless he do something that's really radical. I don't see freezing rent or lowering it just a little bit causing that. I mean, there are places where people are making a huge profit. Now they make profit slightly less. I don't see the response of vacating your apartments as being a chosen solution by anybody.
It's going to happen, dude. I promise you it will absolutely happen, okay? Someone in the comments asked one city, Milwaukee. You can get something in Milwaukee for anywhere from 900 to 1,000 and 300. What
are you saying? What about Milwaukee?
Oh, yeah, they asked what city can you get an apartment and for within the 800 range. I said in Milwaukee. You can
you can definitely get. I mean, I don't know how much apartments you're going to get in Milwaukee, but you could definitely rent an apartment somewhere in the city of Milwaukee for $800. Yeah, that's true.
More than possible. Yes, today.
Who wants to live in Milwaukee? Milwaukee's a big ass city. I used to live in Milwaukee myself. That's a big city.
I know. But my point is the size of the city does not matter. What matters is the economic policies. Look at places like Houston, where it's way cheaper to live. You want to know why? Because they don't have zoning laws in there. I mean, they don't do zoning. And they have a lot more libertarian policies when it comes to economics.
Yeah, but they also have a lot less people insured. I mean, anytime you take away social programs so that the downtrodden can fall flat on their face, you do have enough room to do all this other stuff. I mean, right-wing areas are really anti-social policies. Like Texas, for instance, they brag about their economy. They don't tell you that their education system and particularly their amount of insured Americans is very low. I mean, they don't put money in social programs. That's why most of the states in this country that would benefit from what comes from social programs, if you don't do those states are going to be toward the bottom. And that's what happens in Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee. The education system is worse. The children don't rank as high. The people that are insured healthcare wise are much lower. The poverty rate much greater. I mean, because they don't invest in social programs. They just look.
Well, I know you want to criticize the right for its economic policies, but we want to know
that's what you're doing to the left.
Overwhelmingly, the right-wing people donate way more to charity than the left. It's been shown in stat after stat after stat that they do.
It's not
way more. It's not even close.
Well, it's not enough, Jeremy, is the point. It's not. America's not going to take care of its downtrodden and its poor by charity. It's not going to be enough like that. If you got rid of welfare and you got rid of EBT and SNAP and stuff like that and depended on people having to go to churches and charity, we've lived that era. That's why welfare became a thing, is because that it's not enough. And then people are only going to want to give money to people that they like or they resonate with. I mean, you see people now talking about, well, I don't want you using Snap to buy lobster and shit like that. Well, they going to certainly do that if they actually are donating the money themselves. I mean, they really going to be making sure that people only drink bread and eat bread and water. I mean, they really going to do that. So
yeah, because those are a luxury. Because lobster is a luxury.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm not arguing that it's not a luxury, but I don't believe that even a small percentage of people on Snap are eating lobster. Most of the neighborhoods that these people live in don't even sell lobster.
Here's the thing. Gangster grandma, the white person that she is, says, no, it's not. It's not a luxury.
Well, it's a. I don't. At the price of lobster, you should not be eating that if you're getting.
Here's the thing, Tim. Here's the thing. I actually don't have a problem with the SNAP program because it allows people to have money to buy things that they should buy. It necessitates that if you're going to get money from the government, it should at least go to something that helps you survive. Okay?
Let me tell you how I look at it.
Fraud.
Yeah, see, to me, I think that is almost comes across as hatred to the poor. I would do it like this.
Wait, I was homeless. What do you mean?
Let me tell you.
I was homeless at one point in my life.
Okay, and you can still hate. You can hate your own kind. That ain't saying nothing. Here's why I say it's hatred. Here's why I say it's hatred. Figure out how much you think a person that is needing SNAP or food stamps should get. $300, $400 a month, whatever per kid, whatever you figure out in that area. Get that to them, and who gives a fuck what they buy with it? We only gave you the bare minimum. If somehow you figured out a way to buy lobster off of that, and maybe you're not eating meals toward the end of the month, who gives a damn? Why waste time going after all of this shit? We only giving you $300 a month. If you're stretching it out with ramen noodle good on you, if you're buying lobster and shit and you're only eating one meal a day, whatever. We're not gonna waste our time looking at that. That's the way I view it.
Well, the way I view it is, as long as people are not committing fraud, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with them using SNAP. That's okay with me. Then why focus on what they actually buying with it? Because here's the thing. Well, it should just be common sense that if you're giving money to someone else and they say, I'm going to use it for survival, that's what they use it for. Otherwise, they're just blowing other people's money. They're not. You only gave them enough just to fucking survive. Now you got to go to the store with them and see what they buy. Look, you only gave me $200 a month to survive and buy groceries. My big ass, when you gave that to me, that is barely enough to get. Do you need to go to the grocery store and see what I actually put in the cart now too? Damn. As long as, again, what is the problem with somebody realizing that, I can only buy a good food on this? I can only, especially in America. And here's the thing, Tim. Okay, we got to have a more economically literate country. We got to teach kids how those social policies actually work and what they actually do. Because places like New York are as expensive as they are because the people there are like the socialist fuckhead, Mamdani, don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. I think he's never had to work in his life. He's a Nepo baby. You voted for Trump and you're complaining about Nepo babies, really? Trump at least has businesses that he ran for several years. This kid, it was a failed rapper. I'm sorry, they are not the same. They're not the same. Well, okay. I'm gonna leave that alone. But listen, you voted for a Nepo baby, so he ran some businesses, so be it. But Trump, I got $1 million loan from my dad. How many Americans have a dad that could get him $1 million loan to start? I mean, he didn't have to work that damn hard either. A lot of that shit probably got through because of his dad. He needed a loan from a bank. He wanted to get into a business deal. But we know your dad, Fred. So that man had all kinds of advantages. So, listen, you're going to talk about Mamdani but vote for Trump? It's the same shit. Yeah. And again, my issue here is his policies, they don't make sense. You want to know what would happen if they got rid of rent stabilization altogether? Tons of units would open up. Tons of units. Yeah, we need can't afford capitalism do its job. Yeah. Listen, I've seen with the free market, you guys on the right keep talking about the free market. I've seen the free market in terms of
failing to do labor laws, the free market. If you let them hire illegal immigrants, they'll do that. They don't give you minimum wage increase and shit. Like, I don't believe in less regulation like that. I believe that if you let the powers that be operate with less regulation, they're gonna do what's wrong. They're gonna do what's right for themselves and what's wrong for the people that be. I don't trust the free market. I haven't seen nothing to suggest that they're going to be on the up and up.
The free market might not be perfect, but when you constantly put your hand on the scale, you're going to get a messed up results over and over and over again, and over and over again. Socialist and communist and policies have been tried all over the world, whether they be in a mixed economy, where they're leading more socialist, but they're not completely communist, or whether they be in a complete command economy, Russian, Soviet Union style economy. They have been tried over and over and over again.
I think what we fail to discuss, we always talk about how bad socialism is. We fail to acknowledge the fact that if you have unchecked capitalism, it's just as bad. If we had a purely capitalist country, that's terrible too. We make it sound like socialism is awful and capitalism is great. Capitalism is causing a lot of problems as well. I mean, homelessness, whether we're talking about telling people that, if you come home after work and have a cigarette, it'll be good. Those are capitalists lying to you. I mean, the fact that a lot of us.
I'm not an anarcho-capitalist. I'm not an anarcho-capitalist.
What I'm saying is we bash socialism as if capitalism is great. I mean, there's a reason why most of America's obese. It's because people were capitalizing on getting you to eat the wrong shit. I mean, capitalism has caused a whole lot of problems in this country.
Yeah, well, regulated capitalism, though, works the absolute best. Under no conditions have socialism or communism ever worked at all, not even a little bit.
It does work. It does work. That's how capitalism is kept in check, by socialism.
No. It's never actually worked when you actually, and by the way, just having rules and laws around the economy is not the same as socialism. Socialism refers to central planning of the economy by elites.
So do you think America, if you get rid of all the socialism, let's say, for instance, EBT cards and SNAP, do you think America would be better if we got rid of that completely?
That's not true socialism.
It's money coming from the wealthy to take care of the poor. What's different about it?
It's not a full social. It doesn't eliminate the private market. It's just a substitute. It's a
socialist tenet in the capitalist system.
It's a supplement.
Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. It's again. Socialism is about central planning. A true socialist state would say that everyone is getting an EBT card and no private grocery stores exist anymore, which is very close to what Mamdani is getting closer to every day. Mamdani right now is just talking. That's all he's done. Just like Trump talking about ending the war in 24 hours. Until he actually does a lot of this shit, it's just talk. President Trump claims the tariffs are going to bring us billions of dollars. It's just talk. You don't know until you see it. Mamdani hasn't done it one damn day in office yet. You're attributing this guy to destroying New York already. You got to see what happens, because they were saying the same shit about Obama when he talked about spreading the wealth around, how he was going to destroy America. It didn't happen. It didn't come close to happening. Last word to you. I got to move it on.
Okay. Well, when I'm right, you got to put the Trump hat on.
And when you're wrong, I'm going to say go fuck yourself. Jeremy, always a pleasure talking to you. Anytime. Come on back through. All right, moving on with the program. Thank you, Matt ONG777, a mystery gift. I've never seen that before, but thank you. Appreciate that. I'm curious as to what's going to culminate at that, but thank you very much on YouTube. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 70,000. Got a lot of lazy thumbs in here, and certainly help your boy get that TikTok cap goal. I don't know, what does the program suck tonight, huh? Because we're working here. Anyway, continuing on with the program. In addition to talking about Mamdani, who is dominating the news, and I'll tell you why I believe that. Thank you, Big Dog. I see that. Is that right? I didn't know that, Big Dog, but thank you. Appreciate that support. I believe that Mamdani is dominating the news because he is a threat. He is a threat. Listen, he's promising socialism and whatever the hell, like my last caller was saying, but fact is, Mamdani is a threat. Thank you, James Harper. Appreciate that. Is they've been telling you, look, we've been having lives on this ever since Biden lost. The Democrats are rudderless. They have no leader. Democrats are never going to have a chance again. Mamdani has obviously got a whole lot of support behind him. Miss Big Dog, whatever that is, Turkey at 75% increased cost is what I'm hearing. Thank you. I think Mamdani is getting a lot of attention because he is a threat. In fact, you had 2-3 governors win that same night. Virginia, New Jersey. What was the other? I think that was okay. But two governors won the night Mamdani became. They don't even talk about them. They're not even coming up. It's all Mamdani. He's just a mayor. It's because I do believe that the right realizes that Mamdani is likely a rising star. Keep in mind, and I see Mississippi is going to go blue against the grandma. That's a tall order. You think Mississippi has a chance of going blue? That's a tall order. When was the last time Mississippi had a Democrat governor? That's a tall order. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do believe Mamdani is getting a lot of attention because they see him as a threat. He has energy behind him right now like no other Democrat candidate has had in recent memory. Say what you want about his policies are going to destroy New York or whatever the case may be. Even if that happens, understand, they said the same thing about Trump. Folks said that Trump was going to destroy America. Didn't stop the right from really, really endorsing the guy. So I think the reason that they're really talking about Mamdani is they realize he's a threat. Keep in mind, Rudolph Giuliani, America's mayor, remember all of that? All of the attention he got after 9/11? He ran for president straight from that post. Rudolph Giuliani ran for president straight from being a mayor. So I just want to tell you that if Mamdani, if he is successful even a little bit in his first few years as mayor of New York, you could see him making an attempt in 2032 or 2036 or something like that. You could see him making an attempt at that. So I think they're onto him because they realize that he is a rising star in the Democrat Party. Anyway, continuing on with the show, he isn't born American. Wait a minute. Okay, so he's, all right, I didn't know that. So he was not born officially in the country. Okay, so fuck it. Never mind. He can't run for president. I thought he was born in America. Okay, all right, fair enough. Dream, I'll have you, but he can run for Senate. He can run for other spots nationally. So we'll see. Let me go ahead and continue on with the program. Gangsta Grandma, good evening. Welcome to the show. Donald Trump, grocery prices are going down, says Gangsta Grandma, have you seen grocery prices going down in your area?
Shut the fuck up and don't ask me no stupid question like that.
Why not? It's a legitimate question.
Well, you know what? No, they haven't went down. But guess what? My fat fucking ass is gonna have 8 kids in my damn house. I'm never gonna get no ding-a-ling now. Never. Never. I take care of my 5 grandbabies, okay? I do. I take care of my 5 grandbabies because I promised my kids if they follow their dreams, I'll take care of them because medical school is expensive, right?
You've been a good grandma. You've been a good grandma.
Huh?
You just being a good grandmother.
Yeah, those are my hearts. The ones that are on my page, those are my babies. Okay? Then my best friend, she's died of cancer. I told my best friend. They gave her less than 6 months to live. And then she has nowhere to take her babies. They're going to go put them in state custody if she has no family. So I'm up here. And I'm up here. I leave tomorrow. So I want to take care of them. I want to get custody of all 3 of her babies.
That's really noble. You're gonna teach them to be nice, calm, respectable citizens.
I'm teaching them to be pro-black and not to hate the maggots. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're gonna teach your grandbabies to hate the maggots? That's not nice.
Hey, let me tell you something. My granddaughters, if I don't want them on live, but they'll tell you they can't stand the orange orangutan. They don't like maggots neither. They don't have nothing against normal white people. It's the maggots. I tell them stay the hell away from them.
How old are your grandbabies? How would they know to hate MAGA?
Because They be listening to the news and stuff. See, this is what you motherfuckers don't understand. You know how cause I get jumping on and jumping off, right? So I forgot one of our so-called allies, a dude talking about trans people being in the what is it called, in the sports and shit, right?
Yeah.
See, my kids are open-minded. They don't give a damn. The granddaughters are playing in boys' sports. Do you know that? So they're trying to ban even females to playing in boys' sports.
But do you support would you support a biological male transition into a woman and playing in women's sports?
I don't care. It's just a sport. If they're on hormones for after a few years, I mean, people gotta get educated. Then they, they don't have an upper hand.
Gangster. A lot of cases, not only is this dangerous, but it gives them
shut the fuck up, not you. My kid, let me tell you something about my kids. My kids know who not to trust. My kids don't need to be around maggots, okay? My kids know they'll put them in a fucking tree. My kids know who's racist and who's not. So you fuck me out of here. My kids won't be put in a damn tree and shit.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about your sorry ass fucking ratty raccoony up in the fucking in the
chat.
Yes, not
okay.
you.
All right.
I always call you a ratty raccoon.
Yeah, you do. But what I'm asking is though, you're okay with LeBron James putting on a wig and going to the WNBA?
I don't care. This is what I don't get. It was only 10 athletes in the whole fucking world who was in sports.
Okay.
10! For God's sake, 10!
But do you understand why they're complaining?
Oh, shut the fuck
They're
up.
saying, wait, hold on. They're suggesting that if you allow this and you normalize it, it's going to grow from 10 to 10,000.
No. Shut the fuck up.
No.
Shut the fuck up. You know another thing is I can't stand motherfuckers say, oh, trans women are not safe in the bathroom. Let me tell you something. I'd rather go and shit and piss with a trans woman in the bathroom instead of one of you motherfuckers in the bathroom. Even a cis woman. Cis women is more to grape somebody or molest somebody than a trans woman. Look it up.
I don't
give a fuck.
Let me just say it this way. I don't like it from this standpoint. Let's say, for instance,
I don't give a fuck what you don't like.
Okay, that's fine. But that's what the program is about, is us discussing what we think. I don't like it from this standpoint. Let's say, for instance, I don't really want to go out and work hard like anybody.
Yes, there is evidence.
Hold on.
Look it up.
If I don't want to go out and work hard like everybody else, fuck it. I'll just go play amateur ball against women. And I'll make a living doing that, which will be pretty damn easy. I'll be a superstar in the women's league.
What, Jim? You can't even play ball your damn self.
I could play against women. I could play against women.
Play against women. You know, my granddaughters are playing against guys. My oldest granddaughter, she's a quarterback.
I could play
football.
I would beat your daughter. I would beat your daughter in football.
Who will?
I'm 300 pounds. I'm gonna sack her every time she gets the ball.
You're probably squish her.
I know.
Okay?
That's why I shouldn't be playing with her.
No. But my granddaughters be playing, and they be whooping ass. So you know what? When you guys talking shit about trans people, you guys are eliminating girls too and women. Like, you guys are fucked up in the fucking head. Yes, they are.
What's wrong with simply...
What's wrong?
Okay, wait a minute.
What's wrong that you guys don't get no dicks? What's wrong that you guys don't have to hate on trans people when they're only not even 1% of the fucking population? Half you motherfuckers can't even play. Okay?
What's
So
wrong
mind your
with...
damn business, stay in your fucking lane. How about that?
Well, speaking of minding your business and staying in your fucking lane, what's wrong with telling transgender people to stay in their biological lane?
I'm gonna go the fuck off here.
Why?
You're homophobic, right? You're homophobic,
No,
right?
it ain't nothing to do with homophobic.
Yes, you are. Look, you're trans fucking phobic. Gotta stay in your biological lane, bitch. Can I tell you to stay in your biological lane with your fat fuck ass? That we have to put a damn, whatchamacallit on your dick to even get it up past your stomach? Yeah, let's go there, okay? I am so sick of all you fucking asses picking on trans people. Okay? You go get your dick implant. Okay? Worry about you. Instead of worrying about the next fucking person who has a dick. Okay?
Let me ask you.
Let's go there. You guys are worried about the wrong shit. Trans people want to be left the fuck alone. Trans people just want to live in their fucking truth. You guys cannot live in your truth. You cannot live in your truth. The fucking cis men cannot live in their truth. And you know who gets pegged the most? Let's do it all, okay? Let's bring out everybody's damn business. The Christian white men love to be fucked in the ass without, you know what I mean? With women. They like it like that, okay? They get paid. They pay $1,500 to $2,000 to get fucked in the ass.
How do you know that? How do you know something like that?
I used to do it.
People paid you $2,000 to peg them?
Yes. So what I'm telling you, these motherfuckers are fake as hell. Fake as hell, okay? Fake. I used to fuck them with a dildo up the ass. And they paid me.
How do you know they were conservative, though?
Christian white men.
How do you know they were conservative?
What they telling you, they don't live in their fucking truth. And now it's still in my goddamn inbox asking me to fuck them.
How do you know they're conservatives? They might be liberals.
They tell me. It's a kink for them.
Why would somebody paying you to do something like that tell you what their political orientation is?
It's a kink. Did you just... Are you fucking serious, dude? Are you fucking serious?
I mean,
it's a kink. Tim, I will fuck you. I can make you my bitch. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's a man's G-spot.
I don't want to know about that. I don't want.
Well, I'm letting you fucking know. That's why they're so fucked up in the head and they're going after trans women because half the asses like fucking trans women because they like to be fucked too by trans women.
I
mean, let's get this. I'm laying it all out. That's what these motherfuckers are into, Tim. They're into it, Tim.
Well, I'm like the word night, sight, and fight. My G-spot is silent. The G is silent. You don't touch that. You don't touch that. No.
Yes, they are.
No.
That's why guys like to be pegged.
No.
Because it is in their ass and they like to be bent over and they like it like that. I used to be a professional pegger. And I still do it.
Are you serious?
I'm dead ass serious. I put money on it. When I say I'm a mistress and I'm in the B situation, but I can't say all of it, BD. And then the other.
SM, I get it. SM.
I am. I'm a mistress. I'm right there with the dom. I do it like that. I'm not lying, bitch. I fuck you in the ass. Mega reacts. Yep, I am. I'm a professional, bitch. You can't afford my services.
You are crazy.
It is the truth.
Oh my God.
Real. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm honest to God being real.
I bet you MAGA would react to that. Oh my God.
You'll be my bitch, though. You'll be my bitch, though. That's the motherfuckers are saying, let me tell you something else.
Wow.
Oh my God. Tell you, they're fake as hell. These so-called Christians are fake fucking as hell because they like to be pegged and shit. They do this shit, and then they come after fucking motherfuckers that can't defend themselves and stuff, Tim. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not lying. The white men, they have a kink towards that shit, and they'll pay you.
Jeremy says you have no evidence. I don't even want to know what the evidence is, Jeremy.
I'll bend over, bitch. I got 8 inches, 12 inches, 11 inches. I have a 10-inch one, too. So what the fuck you want, bitch?
Wait, you're telling me some of your clients are accepting 12 inches?
Yep, I do.
That's like a colonoscopy. God damn.
I'm not. See, I think, no, honey. I'm into the BD, honey. And when I tell you that I'll bend your ass over and you meet my bitch at the night, tell me I'm not shit. And let me tell you another thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When I tell you about these little fuck-ass white and teen men and how much kink there is, yes, honey, yes. They're into that shit. And that's why they're going after the trans women and shit. Because you know why? Because at least trans women and trans men, they live in their fucking truth. And they come and they bring it all out there and they live their truth. These little motherfucking white teen men, they can't live in their truth. They can't go home to their bitches and tell them, oh, honey, I got fucked in the ass.
No,
Okay,
I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can go home to any woman and see I got fucked in it.
Yes, you really can, because a lot of women do it.
Where the hell do you be hanging around? You're unsafe.
I'm in BG, right? I go to parties and shit. Oh, we have them like that, sweetheart. Yes, we do. BG is very, like, I was collared for 18 fucking years. When I tell you I know what the fuck I'm talking about, I'm very deep in this shit, yes.
What do you mean by collared? You don't like MAGA reacts referring to people as colored. Is that the same thing?
Collared, not colored, collared.
What is collared?
Oh Lord, yeah, you basic as shit.
I'm vanilla compared to this shit. Handsome Stubby Finger said this official. Tim is crying. Great work, gangsta grandma. I know. I wasn't expecting this. That's why. She took me to a
you over here caping for the white man. You don't even know what the fuck they be doing at night. They be bending over like my bitch. I call them anything but a fucking white man. I degrade their asses in the bedroom. I be whooping the shit out them, and I don't have a touch their asses. Only thing that touches them is fucking plastic. They have never put nothing inside of me or nothing, and they pay me for that shit. Tell me if that's what I'm telling you. I know I have dirty little secrets. Dirty little secrets.
What did the girl used to say? Assume the fucking position. I don't know.
I can't assume the fucking position. Bend over, bitch. I got you, and you will be my bitch. So when I tell you I've been collared and every damn thing for 18 fucking years, I'm deep in this shit. So when I tell you these white men like it like that and they pay me, I don't get nothing for 15 minutes. Only 15 minutes is $1,500 to get fucked in the ass. Up to $2,000 for 30 to 45 fucking minutes. Tell me I'm not fucking.
Why would a guy want this stuff? This is crazy.
Oh, it feels good to them, I guess. It's the best damn orgasm. It's your G's. I can't with you. You don't make me laugh. You stop. It's your G-spot, Timmy Tim. I can do it to you. I'll turn your ass out.
Maybe I am homophobic. I'm gonna stay in my lane, as you said. That is not just a different lane. That's on a different highway. I'm not even on that road.
Motherfucker, I'm not embarrassing you, bitch. I'm not embarrassing you. And you can never come at my fucking level, you skanky ass hood rat. Bitch, I am the bitch, okay? And I will turn you out.
I got one of my viewers. Kat says you seem like a nice Christian woman.
I'm a Christian. I'm a freaky Christian. I ain't fake like y'all motherfuckers in here, a white nationalist and shit. No, fuck that. I'm a freaky Christian. God knows what I've been doing, and God knows I love Him some Jesus. But let me tell you, I tell God at night, I'm sorry, I had to pay somebody. I made me some money, okay?
You tell God I'm sorry I had to pay somebody?
Hell yeah. I said, yes, man. I said, God, I'm sorry for my sins, but I had to pay a bitch. Hallelujah.
That is awful.
It's not awful. It's fucking good damn money. If you know what the fuck you're doing, you know how to pay it, bitch. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Half these motherfuckers that hate on trans people and lesbians and shit, at least we're living our fucking damn truth. They can't go to their bitch and say, hey, you know what, babe? Come and peg me. I like it like that. Hell no, bitch. You can't. And then you be worrying about why that $1,500 out your damn savings account and shit. They be paying for this shit.
How does somebody approach a stranger and say do something crazy like that?
You don't approach a stranger. You go to the club. We have clubs, BG clubs. I can't say it all, but we have BG clubs. And honey, you go up in there, you show your paperwork and shit. Bitch, if you want to see my binge, bitch, go on my page, you skaky hood rat. Like you won't be my bitch at the end though, with your white charge.
All right, Gates, I gotta move it on because you don't mess me up.
Your little minions right here, your little maggot minions, they can't afford my services. They can't.
Services.
But I can tell you one damn thing. Though. Okay? Yeah, I can't say all. BD, I can't say it all, okay?
SM. The other two letters are SM.
Yeah, I can't say it all. But let me tell you something. When I tell you I have a dungeon for the SEX shit, I do. It's in my house. I have it. So when I tell you I'm into that shit deep, I don't do it right now no more because I have my grandbabies in my house. You know what I mean? I don't bring nobody around my grandbabies. I promised to take care of them. But when I was in that shit, I can still fuck now. If I really want to, I'll go to their house.
Okay, I gotta move it on. You put way too much in my head tonight. Real quick.
But Tim, you guys have to worry about the other shit. That's why they come after the trans community, LGBT community, because they're in the shit. They just don't want everybody to fucking know.
But let me ask you: Do you not agree that men by biology are stronger and generally faster than women?
Now I can say this: if they're not on the hormones and shit, right? If they're not on the hormones like 4 or 5 years, then no, they should not play. But if you're on the T shots are for men, but if you're on the other, estrogen and stuff, and they've been on it for several years, statistically they are just like us. They just because they got rid of the other T. They're going
to still have bone structure, and they're going to still have height, bone. Wait a minute, they're going to still have height, bone structure, weight.
Yeah, no, they lose it. It's you have to go look the shit up. I'm not a professional like that, but I'm just being real. I don't give a damn. He's all more worried about my fucking bitch. The bitch is on my page. But anyways, That's what I'm saying, though, Tim.
All right, I gotta move it on. I gotta move it on.
Tim, you want to get paid, Tim? You want to be my bitch at the end of the day?
I gotta go. Catch you later. We do not want to get paid. Tap the screen. Jesus. Get the likes up to 80,000. I do a lot to entertain you motherfuckers. So show your boys some love. Tap the screen. Feel free to get that. Did the TikTok cap go? I think Big Dog said that was meant. Anyway, show your boys some love. Wow. I don't even know what to do after that last call. I did not. That really went off the edge there. And Gangsta Grandma is talking about a dog collar, not colored. That's a stubby figures. I kind of thought that's what she was talking about, but wow. Taking one for the team, says Neil's in tip. Yeah, 777. Tap the screen. That's all I can say. Get your boy likes on up to 80,000. What a call. Take a shower. That's what says Keith. Take a shower, huh? Perhaps. I don't know. Gangsta Grandma comes. Every call Gangsta Grandma makes is memorable. I don't think I've ever had her on the program where her conversation was not memorable. That probably is actually even more memorable than some. Magari X says, I think everything she says is a lie. I don't even know people who make that kind of stuff up. Some things are so wild, kind of wonder it must be happening. I don't know. Anyway, all the New York cops who are retiring and or moving to Florida. I don't believe they all doing that presidential touch. I believe some of them are. It's just like people said if Trump win, they gonna lead a fucking country and all of that. I don't buy that. Wow, Scott Penny, thank you very much for the good galaxy. Thank you very much. And going back to the box, appreciate that, Scott. Redneck Christian, good evening. Welcome to the program. Trump gonna bury them under his gay bathroom foundation. What a gay ballroom foundation. What? Say slick and wicked. Redneck Christian, good evening.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I assume this is gonna be somewhat of a more civilized call, but
very much so. Very much so. Gangster is. I'm new to this channel. And she just cracks me up.
She's memorable. She is a very memorable interaction. So getting back to the actual, getting back to the actual topic of the show. One being, you hear we talked about Mamdani quite often on the program because folks are suggesting he's going to ruin New York, and some are even comparing the guy to Bin Laden. Any idea why they would compare him to probably one of the worst terrorists in American history? Why would they compare this guy who just won the mayoralship in New York? Why the hell would they be comparing him to Bin Laden?
Ignorance.
I could see some of that. I could definitely see some of it. So do you believe that he is going to somehow destroy the city financially or any of that stuff?
No. He won't. The free bus rides, I don't see how he can do it. But I mean, I'm not from New York. I don't know how their system, especially in New York City, their system is if out here, I live in Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm a liberal redneck is what I am.
Oh man, you are a blue dot.
I am a blue dot in a red state.
Your whole state, every county went red, did it not?
It did.
That's
It sure did.
That's amazing. Every single county. And you guys got Native Americans in your state and shit. And they all went red, huh?
Yep, every county went red.
Wow.
Yeah, we're ass backwards. That's all there is to it.
Aren't you the state that had the school superintendent that was trying to put Christianity in the schools and the kids have to read out of the Bible or something like that?
Yes, we did. The state superintendent, he wanted to put a Bible in every classroom. He did send some Bibles out, and he wanted to teach the Bible in history class. Wanted to the election was stolen from Trump. He wanted that taught in the curriculum.
Really? Wait. He actually wanted to teach the kids that the election was stolen from Trump.
It was a fraudulent election, yes.
Wow. I didn't know that. That is crazy. That is absolutely
Yeah, it was a contested election that it was cheating. Yes. Yeah, he wanted to put that in there.
Damn. And that's based on zero evidence. Talk about rewriting history. Listen, Trump claims the election was stolen from him. If he had actual proof, that's one thing. But to teach that to kids with no proof, I mean, like if the kid asks questions, most of the questions that they would ask, he can't even answer them.
No.
Wow.
You're right.
Oklahoma, huh?
Yeah.
Now they got rid of that guy, didn't they? They got rid of him, didn't they?
He resigned, and he's I forget what the name of that think tank or whatever he's on is. They're against teacher unions, but yeah, it's coming out a bunch on him. How much he paid his different people in his workers. He's paying one of them like $160,000 a year for advice and shit. Man, he was bad.
Yeah, real bad. I mean, they talk about forcing LGBTQ stuff and woke and CRT on kids in schools, but he was going to force the 2020 election on children. Wow. And a lot of folks often say the reason the Democrats lost in 2024 to Trump is they went too far to the left with the woke stuff and all. To me, stuff like what we're discussing with this superintendent, people don't realize that the right can go too far to the right as well. When you're starting to force kids to learn Christianity and forcing them to learn that Trump won the 2020 election is outrageous, but people don't realize you can go too far to the right as well.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
So let me ask you this, because Trump is, you may have heard, I think I played the clip earlier, but Trump is claiming that, Thanksgiving prices at Walmart are 25% less than they were this time last year.
Yeah, but the meal is smaller than it was last year. And like somebody said to one of your other callers, you're not getting a butterball, you're getting best choice.
Yeah, you're getting generic brands, you're getting less items, and you're getting a generic version of those items.
Yes.
The Walmart version, the great, what do they call them, great deals or whatever their Walmart brand is or whatever. So
yeah, great. I should know that. My wife works at Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah, great buy, something like that. I really don't know. I buy it because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Or not turkeys, but all the vegetables.
Great value. In the comments, they're saying it's called great value. So now you're in a red state.
Right.
Have you seen anything at all economically beneficial since Trump got in office? I mean, the price of fuel, we're talking about groceries. Have you seen inflation? Anything? Have you seen anything that looks better with Trump as opposed to Biden?
No. It's everything's gone up. I mean, you can, like you said, food has gone up. I mean, beef is ridiculous. and it's crazy, and everybody thinks that Trump's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's ridiculous.
Now, you being in an all red state, I'm sure you got plenty of neighbors that are on the Trump train. Any idea why, if you're not seeing prices coming down at all, that so many Trump supporters believe that they are?
I can't explain it. He's got a spell on people. That's the only thing you can say. That if you say it long enough and loud enough, people will start believing it. I mean, that's, as winning or losing the election is stolen. He just keeps preaching, it's stolen, it's stolen, it's stolen. Yeah. If you preach it long enough and loud enough, people will start believing. That's just the human nature.
Without any proof at all, just say it enough times. I mean, Biden was constantly saying the economy was improving during his term, and people didn't believe him because they could see what their actual bill was. I mean, I don't get why that doesn't apply under Trump. If you go to the grocery store and you see that stuff is more than it was last month when you shopped before, it does him telling you no, you're paying less override what you're actually seeing on the receipt?
I don't think they don't pay attention to it. They just I don't know. I can't explain it, but they believe him.
So let me ask you this now. Another thing is, Trump talked about this. I don't know if you heard it earlier, but I will play the clip for folks who have not heard it, because he was in the Oval Office having this conversation, and his tariffs came up.
Devastating if we lost that ruling.
But before the Supreme Court issues a ruling, it could be several weeks. Are you going to lay out any new additional tariffs before?
I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to hope that we win. I can't imagine that anybody would do that kind of devastation to our country. We have to pay back trillions of dollars. We've taken in trillions. We haven't taken in billions. We've taken in trillions of dollars. We've made trade deals based on that give us, as an example, European Union.
Now, what he's talking about, we had to pay back trillions. Because they deemed, the appeals court deemed his tariffs as illegal, suggesting he didn't have the right to do that. Now he's taking it to the Supreme Court, and he's talking about, I don't know why the Supreme Court would rule against me, because if they do, we'd have to pay back trillions of dollars or whatever he's saying here. But do you believe they should overturn his tariffs?
Yes. It's taxation without representation.
What about what he's saying, though? It would cost us a fortune if we have to. As he's pointing out, we've made deals based on those tariffs.
We have, or he has, but yeah, we would have to pay it back. It's just, that's what we fought. The revolution.
Taxation without representation.
Yep.
Yeah. So you would actually favor it now, because those countries have imposed reciprocal tariffs on us, and they get to keep what they took from us, because our Supreme Court doesn't have any control over them at all. So they would get to keep all the extra they imposed on us as retribution or revenge, but we would have to pay all the extra we charge back to them. You would support the Supreme Court doing that?
Yes, I would. I mean, it's the law is the law. That's just the way it is.
What about the notion that he's stated that these tariffs are going to bring in a ton of money to this country?
It brings in, but what does it cost the taxpayer or the consumer? It just passed on.
Well, he's saying, now I know most of the financial analysts agree with you that those tariffs are nothing more than a tax on the American consumer, but he's saying otherwise. He is saying that at the end of the day, these tariffs are going to bring in not only a bunch of money to America, but it's going to bring jobs and manufacturing back.
The money the federal government will get that. They're getting that. It's not trickling. It's not trickling down by no means. We're paying more for our goods from the countries that we're buying off of. We're having to pay, for the tariffs. They just added on to the price, but we're not seeing any of that money.
Well, I mean, he's only been in office for, less than a year. It's possible. Yeah. Let me ask it to you this way. If you did see some of that money, let's say he did send out a $600, $1,000 stimulus or something to every American, would you change your tune on him then?
No.
So is he in a position where no matter what he does, you're not going to like him?
Pretty much. Yep.
That's not fair, though, is it? That's what they call derangement syndrome. Whoa, thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. I haven't seen that before on YouTube. Somebody got one of these little dogs running around on the screen. Thank you. Appreciate the support. But that's not fair there, Redneck. I mean...
Yeah, all's fair in love and war.
How do you think he performed in his first term? Many suggest the economy was good up to the pandemic. I mean, did you think he did a decent job in his first term?
Well, he was living off Obama's success. For the first 2 or 3 years, or first 2 years, you're running off your predecessor's success or failure. Because your laws or whatever you back in don't go into effect until it has to be through Congress. It takes a while for it to go in effect before you see the fruits or losses of your policies. So these first 2 to 3 years, he was living off Obama's success.
Yeah, many suggest that. Well, I mean, this time is totally different. I mean, he's expanded the White House and just a whole different Trump. So I got to move it on, but he does have 3+ years, but you've already made it clear it doesn't matter what he does. He's not going to win favor with you. So it is what it is.
No, I'm a blue dot in a sea of red.
Wow. Hell of a place.
Well, I have one question for you.
Sure.
I'm like I said, I'm new to this. What are your hours, or when you
right now, because I work just like everybody else. I don't have a set time, but usually when I'm on most weeknights, and it's usually on around this time, 7-ish Central Time. So you're in the you're probably in Mountain, or are you Central?
I'm in Central?
You're in Central, okay.
Central Time.
All right. So yeah, usually around 7 is when anywhere between 5 and 7 is when I start, and the program goes about 2.5, 3 hours. So there you go.
Cool.
I think you might be, some of these things you can set notifications, because we're on YouTube currently, we're on X and Instagram. We're on all of those live right now. So I think
I was watching you on YouTube, and you can't talk on YouTube. Yeah. So I downloaded TikTok, which I was against TikTok because of the the government,
it's a lot of censorship on TikTok. It's a lot of what's happening is the right complained and bitched about Zuckerberg and Twitter being censored to the right. They've taken control of a lot of this stuff, and they're just censoring the left. They're doing the same thing in reverse. Now all of a sudden the left are getting censored. They didn't open it up. They just said only our people get to speak now, which is the same thing in reverse.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But I appreciate you coming over. Thank you for supporting the program, coming on over to TikTok. Come on back anytime.
I will. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. You're saying. All right, moving on with the program. Thank you, Richard Furlot. Appreciate that. Sent the corgi there. Thank you very much. In fact, that's the first time I've seen that. I didn't even know you could do that. And the what do you call Aaron Harmon with the trophy cake. YouTube is now allowing you to send in the graphics very similar to on TikTok. I've never seen it before until today. So thank you, Harmon, and the other guest, Furlot. Thank you, Richard Furlot. Looking in the comments, sometimes he starts really well. Let me just say really, really early sometimes. Well, I will say this. Tomorrow we'll be on around noon. So if you want to tune in, hopefully nothing ridiculous happens in the news, but this is the era of Trump, but we will be on around noon tomorrow. So if you want to come on through and join us and talk a little shit, we don't block, ban, or censor anybody. It doesn't matter what your politics are. You can be critical of anyone on the program, including yours truly. And what do we say? We're always MAGA friendly. Been that way from day one, always will remain that way. If you enjoy this type of programming, follow us. If you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, and X. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. That's 5/8 gap. Don't know what you're saying there, Senga Waldron. Hey, bro, don't you see he's hurting the elderly? That depends on the SNAP benefits. Hurting the elderly, how? This is the Jerry Springer of podcasts. How so? We get a few guests that are, for lack of a better term, we'll say passionate in their responses. Some folks are a little bit more passionate. We'll say it like that. So it is what it is. Let me go back to the box. Jerry Springer, huh? Yikes. Oh my goodness. Jerry was a very successful guy. May he rest in peace. Top Dog, good evening. Welcome to the program. Top Dog, what's up, man?
What's up, Tim?
Shit. So what do you think? This Mamdani guy, is he the end of the world for New York? Everybody need to leave the city?
Hell no, Tim. Nah. I mean, he gonna try to implement what he can, and he probably go through what any other politician do. He gonna have people that assembly going against him. That's all.
Oh yeah,
fighting everything you do. And then I like what she said about the the free busing. Yeah, they might give it out, but it might just be in a certain area. So it ain't gonna be what people think around the whole city. I don't see that. So.
Yeah, because that's the largest transit system in the country. I mean, it should maybe the world, I don't know, but definitely the largest in the country. And it's like they obviously are making a ton of money. I mean, you can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of the income coming in from the New York transit system. So yeah, all of it can't be free.
Well, it's like with anything, Tim. If he can't give it to him free, at least if he can make it half price, that'll help out. If it's daycare, if he can knock it down to half price, he tried something, you know what I mean? So if he can't give you the full daycare 100%, well, if he can knock it down 50%, 25% is better than what we're getting right now.
Yeah, daycare prices are ridiculous. I mean, listen, riding the bus is one thing. I mean, most working people can afford a bus pass, but daycare prices are unaffordable to a lot of people. I mean, the price you pay to put your kid in daycare is almost akin to what you pay to put them in college. I mean, that shit is hundreds of dollars a week. I mean, that is ridiculous.
I mean, when some people, daycare so high, Tim, it's not even worth them going to work because what they're going to spend in daycare,
Yeah. If he could come up with it'd
be about the same. So
yeah, if he could come up with some kind of solution for daycare, I think all of us on the left are going to be hoping that catches on across the country because daycare, I remember when my shorty was young, that's a lot of fucking money. It's unaffordable. Like you said, if you got an entry level job, slightly above minimum wage or something like that, you can't afford to pay daycare. You just can't.
Nah, Tim, and what the Republicans got to understand, they got to blame Trump for that Tuesday blue wave, for Mamdani. Whatever his name is, they gotta blame Trump for that.
What are you talking about?
Well, what I mean by blame Trump, Tim, is let me pull over real quick, Tim. What I mean by blaming Trump is he's going so far right, so we're willing to accept some of this stuff from the far left. As in socialism or free government, hospitals or whatever it may be. Just because Trump going so far right, we're willing to accept some things so far left at this point.
And that's what I said. That's what I keep telling some of my MAGA viewers is that you got rid of the Democrats because you think they went too far to the left. You can go too far to the right because now I believe the Supreme Court is now about to hear on whether or not they can reverse gay marriage. I mean, they're actually talking about they're going pretty far to the right pretty quick. Now, biological males in women's sports, look, I can kind of understand that one, but reversing gay marriage? I mean, so they are, what's next? Interracial marriage? I mean, they really are starting to go pretty far to the right.
I mean, they got a good track record going to the Supreme Court and winning, Tim. So now they're doing everything they can up there. It's in their favor. Hey, so when it comes to the tariffs, I don't know what they're gonna do, Tim. This is when we're gonna see if they really separate from Donald Trump or not right here. If they separate with Donald Trump on this one, we have to wash my hands with the Supreme Court, Tim. I already washed my hands with them.
Well, we know two of them, Alito and Clarence Thomas, are not going to be separate. I mean, you can guarantee whatever Trump wants, Alito and Clarence Thomas are going to give it to him. They're not going to separate from Trump on anything. So he got 2. He obviously needs 5. So he only needs 3 more. And he's guaranteed to get Alito and Clarence Thomas on virtually anything.
Well, shit. Well, there you go. So, I mean, I'm waiting to see what they're going to come up with, Tim. You know, I know what the one that lean left, what they're going to say and do. You know what I mean? But the ones, those new ones up there, you know, ones kind of somewhat, you know, vote left sometimes, which I rarely see it, but, you know, see what they say.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's crazy because there were gays for Trump out there. There were groups of Trump, because there's a picture of Trump holding up the LGBTQ flag. I mean, there were gays for Trump.
Well,
like,
yeah, Tim, they was, Tim. You know, it was them. You know, he had the Latinos, he had the blacks for Trump, he had, you know, the Cubans for Trump, he had the, you know, everything for Trump. But, you know, it's just like this, Tim. I'm not a religious man, but I do believe, you know, when God puts you back in a leadership, I was in the military, so he put you in a leadership position that you was at before that you kind of didn't do it right. So he gonna give you a second chance. I believe when God give you a second chance, Tim, Trump had 2 options up there, Tim. He had 2 options he can do. He can get up there and he can unite the world and everybody doing good, everybody working together, and we put a stop to this bullshit. Or you can get up there and you can divide. And he decided to get up there and divide, Tim.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't say that Trump decided to get up there and divide. In my opinion, he campaigned on dividing. You knew before he became president he was going to be a divisive leader. I mean, he even told Sean Hannity, I was going to be your guy of retribution. Anybody who thought Trump was going to be anything other than divisive, you weren't listening to him. He didn't promise unity. He never even campaigned on it. I mean, it was obvious he was going to be divisive. He let you know that.
That's what he ran on. That's what he doing, and that's what his mistake was right there, Tim. That was his mistake right there because he had the option to bring everything together and kind of settle everything down around the world. He's going around, you know, down there in Venezuela. He's talking about going over to Nigeria. He's doing all this other shit. He's stirring up shit. He's not settled nothing. He did not settle Gaza and all that over there, Tim. They never stopped.
I thought they had a ceasefire. I haven't heard of too much Israeli killing lately.
Well, it was killing after the ceasefire.
Yeah. But it ain't as bad. It ain't as bad as it was though.
No, maybe not bad as it was, but Tim, it's not over. It's not over. It's not a siege deal.
Yeah.
You know, they went over there and gave him a round of applause, and they all stood up, standing ovation, and shit happened. But this is typical Trump right here, Tim. He get up there and flamboyant, I stopped this war, he stopped this war, and they start the shit back the next day.
The man said he stopped 8 wars.
Yeah, and then he's trying to get the Nobel Peace Prize, Tim. He ain't getting that shit, Tim. He'll never get that shit. And when you know, Tim, I'm 41 years old. I've never paid too much about the Nobel Peace Prize, but I've never seen nobody, you know, basically ask for it they damn self. Basically, like, you supposed to give this to me.
Trump, listen, Trump is a competitive individual. He's probably been competitive most of his life. And I do believe right now he's competing with the likes of Barack Obama. I think that he wants to. Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize I wanted. Obama got this universal health care that's going to be added to his legacy. I want to erase that and put something in for my legacy. I think he's just a competitive guy. That's where I think all of that's coming from.
Well, he might be competitive, but he'll never be an Obama. He can get that shit out of his head. You know,
not likely. Yeah, no, he's not going to be an Obama, but he is to the right. MAGA thinks this is the best president we've ever had. Top dog.
Well, you know, I look at MAGA like Dallas Cowboy fans, Tim. It don't matter what the hell happened, they gonna always, yeah, it's all right, yeah, it's all right, yeah, we can, yeah. That's how I look at MAGA. So I told you, I always tell you, Tim, we not worried about MAGA. We want the independents, the people that's on the fence. MAGA gonna ride with him no matter what, Tim. They're gonna ride with Trump no matter what. So we're not trying to. When they go out there and talk, we're not trying to get MAGA. We know y'all not going nowhere. We trying to get the independence people that's back and forth on the fence.
Yeah, but if you're not trying to get MAGA, how are you not doing the same thing that you accuse Trump of doing? Is not trying to focus on the whole country. You're going to just discard MAGA? I mean, those are Americans.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you why, Tim, because I got a couple friends in Black MAGA, and it's like talking to a goddamn wall. That's why you gotta let MAGA do their thing. Because no matter what you say, no matter what you put in front of them, they're gonna justify his bullshit, and they're gonna talk around it. They're gonna justify it. So what I realized, hey man, I let them keep bumping their head against the wall, man.
You know, it's black MAGA, because I still talk to, you know, black Trump supporters as well. They're very happy still. I haven't seen it. Now, I don't know about the Hispanics that supported Trump. I'd have to talk to some of them, but black MAGA, most of them have not strayed. They're still pretty happy at Trump's performance.
Well, just like I tell my friends, and like one of the other subscribers say, I think Keisha said it, they're not going to admit. I got one friend that's black, voted for Trump, and he finally called me and was like, man, yeah, he's fucking up the country. Only had one, but the rest of them, no, they're not going to admit it to him because they don't want to hear, we told you so. We told you so. So everything that he's doing right now, like, you know, right, everything that's going on right now, they're showing, the Republican Party is showing what they're doing with the Tucker Carlson, you know, Nick Fuentes.
That's bad. That that's bad.
They showing it. They showing it. Everything that we've been saying, they showing it right there. Even, and it's so called right now, Nick Fuentes, he going at Candace Owens, you know, Officer Tatum, you know, he going after them, like, basically get the hell on.
Yeah, that's bad.
You know what I mean? So
that is bad to remember that they're in some. I don't think all of them are, but enough of them are embracing Nick Fuentes out in the open, because there's no denying that dude is a white supremacist, a racist. Talked about he favors Adolf and all of that. And there's enough members, enough well-known, highly respected members of the MAGA side of the aisle that are embracing Nick Fuentes. That if you want to pretend like you're not racist or you're not intolerant, get rid of that dude, because you can't. At that point, there's no denying it once you start hanging around him. Like Tucker Carlson did a very friendly 2+ hour interview. I watched about an hour of some of that yesterday, and it's like, wow. I mean, this guy is, and of course Trump.
Yeah, ate dinner with him. Put that out there.
But Trump, but when Kanye West brought Nick Fuentes to Trump's house at Mar-a-Lago, Trump claims he didn't know who he was, though.
Well, you know, Trump lies so much you can't believe shit he say, Tim.
Yeah.
You know, anything Trump say about all this money bringing in 17 trillion, we don't believe shit you say, man. We don't believe shit that's coming out your mouth, Trump, because you lie so fucking much. So somebody like him that lie, it's like a friend or anybody in the neighborhood. You know, a friend has a kid too. This motherfucker always lie. You don't believe shit he say. That's how we look at Trump, Tim. Like, yeah, get your lying ass out of here. Are we bringing in 17 trillion? The most, more than Obama, more than, you know, one thing about Trump, but the MAGA team, they always say, oh, this Trump derangement symbol. But all I hear Trump talk about is goddamn Biden.
Yeah, the Trump derangement syndrome really is.
God damn, he talk about Biden more than anybody I know, Tim.
Yeah, Trump derangement syndrome really is. We don't want you talking about Trump, because you're right. I've asked some Trump supporters, give me your definition of derangement syndrome. And when they describe what derangement syndrome is, yeah, Trump has derangement syndrome on Biden. He has it on the Democrats. He has it on Obama. Whatever that definition of what you think derangement syndrome is, constant hate, constantly talking about the guy living rent-free in your head. Trump clearly has that. They just don't call him out on it.
Well, that's Trump. You know, he want to blame Biden for all his. When everything's good, you know, he wants the glory. But when it's Biden, when shit go bad, he want to blame Biden. No, you can't do that. And you know, they always say, well, you know, the president's living off the, you know, the last president's first 2 years. I would believe that, Tim. But if Trump didn't come in with the damn tariffs and change shit up so much, I kind of would believe that. But he came in and switched up and, you know, taxing, doing all this, putting in all that shit, Tim. So.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know why at this point, because Biden is completely irrelevant. I don't know why he continues bringing up Biden so much. I mean, you can't put a microphone in front of Trump without Biden name coming up. I don't know why. Listen, if you think Biden fucked up, feel free to state it. But like every single time you're on TV, like at some point it does get to be derangement syndrome. I mean, like he's been president less than a year. I would guess that there's probably less than a handful of times, and he's been on TV a lot. There's less than a handful of times he's been on TV where Biden's name didn't come out of his mouth. I don't understand that. Everybody knows you think Biden. So you're sitting next to Zelensky or you're sitting next to Putin. Why the hell is Biden coming up? Like constantly. So,
Well, he's still mad about the 2020 election, Tim. He beat him, so he's bitter about that. You know, he's a sore loser. So that's why he try to always shit on Biden, because Biden beat him in the 2020. Trump is Trump remind me as a little ass kid, Tim. You know, always telling about the next person. When he get in trouble, oh, it's his fault. It's Biden's fault. Oh, well, it's Biden's fault. Stop telling all the goddamn time. You never hear Trump take responsibility.
No, you don't hear Trump suggest that the buck stops with me. You're right. I mean, even his own administration, he's throwing a lot of them under the bus. So
The only time I heard Trump take accountability was Wednesday, the day after the election, when he was talking to those Republican GOP senators up there. He said, "Hey, we pretty much lost. Yeah, this wasn't good." That's the only time I heard him say some shit like that, Tim.
I was surprised to hear that from him. He did say that.
That was the only time I've heard Trump say, "You know what? Yeah,
he didn't say we though. I think, but here's the difference though. He didn't say we because he did say the only reason the Democrats won is because his name wasn't on the ballot. So he said y'all look bad. He didn't say me.
He didn't say that.
Yeah, he said I got to move it on, but no, he put that on them. So
yeah, he did, Tim.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only time I see him take somewhat little responsibility, but he still put it on them. All right,
I'll give you a good example before I let you go. If the Democrats trash the Republicans in the midterms, he ain't gonna take responsibility for that. Because now it's on him. Like if they say that, let's say the Democrats win really big in the midterms, and everybody starts suggesting that's a referendum on Trump, he ain't gonna agree with that. So that's where
Trump never takes responsibility, Tim. You know, Trump is whatever's in his brain is I'm never gonna take responsibility for the negative, and I'm gonna promote everything more than what it is. You know, I don't believe when in the mid 90s, early 2000s, when Trump was saying he was a billionaire, I don't believe he was, Tim.
Yeah, well, he came down the golden escalator claiming to be worth $15 billion. I think Forbes later said maybe 3 at best. So he lied about I think he was a billionaire when he said it, but he greatly listen, any numbers Trump gives you, whether it's his wealth, whether it's his inauguration crowd size, whether it's his height and weight on a mugshot, any numbers he give you, if those numbers can be exaggerated to his benefit, expect that to happen. Top dog, appreciate it.
All right, Tim.
All right, talk to you later. Yeah, I mean, Trump is going to use numbers to his advantage. I mean, oftentimes in an obvious way. I mean, where when he's giving you the number. Like I say all the time, I've been to a couple of Trump rallies, and I've seen him tell the crowd how many illegal immigrants were let in this country under Biden. And then I seen him on TV a day or two later inflating that number by a few million. It's like there's no way 3 or 4 million illegals came in here in the last 3 days. Just making up numbers. So anytime numbers can be inflated to benefit him, expect that to happen. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. Like, for instance, the amount of fentanyl coming in this country and how many people it can kill and how many people he's saving. That number is greatly exaggerated. I mean, he's talking about saving, I forgot how much money he's talking about saving on drug prices, but it was more. I mean, look, you can only save somebody up to 100%. He's actually claimed to be saving you 500% and 600% on stuff. You can't save somebody 600% on a purchase. That means at that point, you're giving them money back. I mean, it doesn't make it's not logical mathematically for some of the stuff he states. But like I said, anytime numbers can be inflated to benefit him, expect him to try to do it, even if it is mathematically unbelievable to do so. I mean, he's literally talking about saving people 500% and 600% on stuff. Like, how can you do that? I saved you 500% on your grocery bill. Like, so they gave me money back at the register. And oddly enough, he'll say that stuff in a room full of people and nobody actually points out to him, sir, that's mathematically impossible. They just let him say it. Let him say it. Anyway, looking in the comments, dangerous shit, man. Can't even do yayo no more without worrying you might get some bad shit. Have you ever been able to do yayo without worrying about getting some bad shit? I think it's always been that way. Anyway, let me look at the comments. I think anytime you're doing illicit drugs, there's a good chance you might get some bad shit, which is why you shouldn't fuck with illicit drugs. Going to, I think it says James Harper. Anyway,